Welcome, everyone, to Nerdrotic. This might be a little choppy. I'm on hotel internet, so I have no idea how the reception is. How are you all doing? Wow. We're going to be talking about a Game of Thrones show. And as you know,
downright nostalgic.
Downright nostalgic. The last one didn't end so well, but I always want to start out anything I talk about Game of Thrones with, how many days has it been since the release of A Dance with Dragons? Well, I know that answer because I looked it up right before this. 4,058 days. 4,058 days since the release of A Dance with Dragons. But we've gotten another Game of Thrones show based on a book that delayed Game Wins a Winner, and now we have a show that's going to delay Wins a Winner. Isn't that great?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you know what? He's probably written like a page, at least, in the 4,000 days. Maybe even 2 pages. I don't know.
Maybe 2 pages. He got COVID at Comic-Con, and he got better. And George, live 1,000 years. Okay, I do love him. I just don't like his impulse control issues. So yeah, I just finished watching the episode. I survived a cloud burst over Scottsdale, Arizona, where I am right now. That was unbelievable. The freeway was a river. Good thing I was driving my 4-wheel drive FJ Cruiser. That's why I got it. My zombie assault vehicle. So as you can see, I am joined by the Eldritch God, the long man, MauLer. How are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm good. I'm very good. Like I said, the nostalgic element, I actually like, because all I remember about when we met, I'm pretty sure it's the Game of Thrones era, right? It was around that. Is that why we met? Because the earliest conversations I remember having with you were about Game of Thrones. So
yes, that is why we
bumped
met.
Into each other a lot on different streams because of it.
We did. I think you were streaming with Jeremy, and then I would do my daytime streams, and you were always like editing. So you're always like, "Hey, dude." And then like everybody's like, "MauLer's in the stream, idiot! Get him in." And I finally noticed. And yeah, we had some great daytime.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, because I used to like want to rant with someone, and I was like, "You're streaming. Can I complain about things with you?"
Absolutely. Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. And famously, there's the season 8 of Game of Thrones, as everyone knows. I'm just giving them a little reminder. Like that got so hideously awful that people were flocking to the internet to see what was going on. It was unprecedented. We did like me and Wolf randomly streaming, just talking about the episode when it came out, and we went up to like 11,000 viewers. We were just like, what the fuck is going on? It's like, that's what it did culturally. Everybody was like, I need to know that this isn't just me, that I'm not insane. It
was a cultural phenomenon. And like when my channel, which wasn't small, but it wasn't huge. It's still not, by the way, in the vast scheme of things, huge. Ladies, we had you guys, when you and Jeremy streamed, you had over 11,000 people watching, maybe more, right? Was it more?
I can't even remember because there was I think it was episode 5 that we streamed. We did for that, set the record, because that was the bells. That was big potatoes. That made everybody furious. Yeah,
and we had 24,000 on one.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it, and when I saw it, like my heart sank. I was like, "Oh shit, wow!" At the time, it was like, and I was thankful for it. It was like 1,000.
Absolutely, dude. Like I remember, I wasn't rushing to see episode 3, but it was Wolf back then who was like, "I just saw episode 3." I think I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna see it," don't worry. And he was like, "You need to see it now." And I was just like, okay. And then we got into a call, and I was watching it, and then it finished, and I was just like, And it took about an hour, and then I was like, I'm writing a script. I was like, I'm very upset.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, because I can't remember, because I met you at that point, because that's what I remember. It was that debate with Cecil, right? That's what everyone always remembers.
Yes, that was the Assassin's Blade. That was so good. That's internet lore right there. That was it. So we met over Game of Thrones, and here we are. Is Az in the chat? Did he watch the episode? I'll send him the link. We can't go 4 hours tonight, but I'll send him the link. I'll absolutely send Az the link. DM me, Az. I hope you we had to wait a little bit, but I hope you all enjoyed Perry's thumbnail. I guess we can talk, people are rolling in. We can talk about the episode. We're going to kind of spoil it. just to let you know.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, we're gonna spoil it. And it was well, I would love to hear your overall thoughts. I guess we can start with non-spoiler thoughts and then we'll get in the details. So what were your overall thoughts, MauLer?
I feel like it's worth setting the scene of
Yes.
I am a disgruntled Game of Thrones fan. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm not walking in here with a fresh like I'm not walking into this in the same way that I'd walk into some random show that I've never seen before, and I'm like, all right, let's have a look. I'm walking into this as so you guys made Game of Thrones, and now you're trying to sell me this, huh? Okay, fine. Let's see what you got. So that's on my mind. And I guess to make it as short as possible, by the time I hit the end, I was like, well, I don't hate you, but at the same time, you've got a lot of work to do to earn back my interest. And so, without we can go into it a little bit more detail, but I felt like it was a little bit boring. That could be solved possibly by if I was more invested. I simply am not right now. Got a lot of trust issues with this world. But there's a couple of little things going on in here that I'm interested in. I think that they've got a decent enough foundation to make a decent story. But we'll have to see how things unfold. I wouldn't want to recommend this until I see the whole season. That's my trust issues right now. If I had every episode up till the last one was great, I'd still be like, got to see that last one. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on here.
I absolutely agree with you. There is no way in hell I'm gonna recommend this until we see the whole thing. Like, dear viewer, I like you too much. I would never do that to you. I felt so bad. I publicly apologized in multiple videos for getting people into Game of Thrones. I felt bad. And because I was selling that thing hard. Yeah, my overall, okay, I have to preface it with, I have major issues with this story, with the book it's based on, lots of resentments, but I'm also a fan. I've also read A Song of Ice and Fire. And by the way, I didn't like that part. We'll get to that. I am a big fan of A Song of Ice and Fire books. I have read them all. I've lost count how many times I've read them all. I don't mind the histories personally. I prefer A World of Ice and Fire. I think that's a much better book than Fire and Blood because believe it or not, the Targaryens are not my favorite thing about this world. So I hate Fire and Blood as a book existing because it delayed the Winds of Winter. And I've read the story. It's okay, but I'm not going to lie to you guys. Without giving you any details, this is a very nihilistic story. This is like it there's no bittersweet ending, and it's missing some huge key elements that hooked a lot of people to Game of Thrones, including White Walkers. Sure, it's got dragons, but it doesn't have that other threat that I think was that's the first scene. It's the first scene you see. And if we think back to the first episode of Game of Thrones, it's freaking great. For I think a third of the money, it's still great. Just didn't end that way, and it set everything up quickly. Yeah, overall, it wasn't a terrible episode. They went really heavy on the patriarchy stuff, which is in the story, but it's the showrunner's choice to go into hammering you over the head with stuff, which definitely did happen a couple of times. That wasn't in very thin source material, to be honest with you. There's no dialogue. There's a couple of lines, but just for the people who don't know, this is based on a fake history with an unreliable narrator trying to gather 3 unreliable narrators. Follow me on that one, which gets a little ridiculous, to be honest with you. So the approach the showrunners have taken with this show is this is the definitive story. So there's no unreliable narrator here. This is going to be the definitive story, but they took like a huge liberty at the end. Like they just made some shit up at the end. So it might work for some people. It didn't work for me. But overall, I didn't hate the episode. I thought it looked great. It looked really good. Like the dragons look good. King's Landing looked good. It was properly gory. I heard some critics out there were going, "Oh my god, it's like gory. It's like it's fucking Game of Thrones. What do you expect?"
Yeah, you got the gore and some titties. They're in there as well.
Some titties. Yeah, why not? I mean, that's why HBO exists. Boobs.
I will say,
okay?
watching this, I put a tweet out about this. Watching this and with a friend who we both got completely scorned on old Game of Thrones. When watching this, at the end of it, we just decided, oh, let's watch the Watchers on the Wall. That fucking episode's so good. It just this was very much reminding me of Game of Thrones, and I don't like being reminded of how much of a fucking fan I was, because that got completely obliterated. So
Yeah.
I have an awkward relationship with this show. To say that I am biased is an understatement. Like this is the problem I'm having, because I'm seeing all kinds of opinions right now spreading all over the place about this. I'm seeing some people say it's fucking fantastic, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna need to see more of it. I need to calm back down from what happened before to be able to judge this show for what it is, as opposed to what it's following from, if you know what I mean. Because there's even a lot of references. They tried to squeeze a whole bunch of stuff in here to be like, hey, Game of Thrones fans, like the fact that this opens with the dragon, I was just like, yeah, you want to make sure people are paying attention. I get it. I understand.
I just don't know if it's a good idea to open with Daenerys, the Targaryen theme. Just remind everybody.
I thought they might want to stay away from Game of Thrones. Like,
right? And there's interesting casting choices that other critics won't talk about. We will. No problem. Because unless it gets really drastically changed in the show, it does matter to the source material for those of you who've read it. But it could be no big deal. And we can also preface that George has set up a world that is diverse anyway, but I know that's so important to everybody in Hollywood right now, and it's done great, hasn't it? Like, there's so many successes out there. No, there isn't. But we also have to acknowledge, you just mentioned it right before the show, the collective orgasm we heard from all the Game of Thrones channels out there.
Finally, they will dig into every last frame of this episode, and they will do it for years to come. Good for them. I'm glad they've got water in a desert, like
Jacobs.
I can't even be sure 100% that I would have watched this without your interest in sort of breaking them down, talking about them, like the cultural elements, because I think I said to friends of mine, like, I would have watched Kenobi whether or not I was talking about it. I don't think I'd be watching She-Hulk. I don't think so. We have different shows like that. I'm not sure where House of the Dragon would land. I think what it would have taken was a trusted friend telling me, oh, dude, I watched it and it's pretty good. That's what it would take for me to be like, all right, fine, I'll give it a shot. But in this case, I'll check it out so we can talk about it. And yeah, this first episode, it's it kind of did all the groundwork stuff that I guess I was expecting. It's like here are some characters, here are some motivations for why they might backstab each other. Here are some little scenes showing who's siding with who sits where, and what dynamics we have. And here's some violence for you. Here's some titties for you. And here's some tournament stuff. You like that? Game of Thrones.
I did.
Dragons. Ooh, look at them go around. Yeah, and it felt like a big bag, like almost like a pick and mix bag from Game of Thrones. It's just like the writers are like, look, we know what you liked about Game of Thrones. We'd like to say we're going to try and offer you that. And I'm like, okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm right there with you. I don't know how I'm not going to have sympathy for creatives in Hollywood who make millions of dollars making pretend. So I'm not, like, you did your job. It wasn't terrible at all. And like, you can see that George's influence, like lots of banners, lots of heraldry. You can tell different houses apart. Again, the CGI, I mean, like, this is going to make Rings of Power look bad. This, however it ends up, story-wise, as far as
dude, that's actually something that I was talking to that friend about. I was like, I'm pretty sure Rings of Power is going to be a disaster compared to this. This is like, out of all the shows that come out, so you got She-Hulk or Rings of Power. I think there's some others that I'm missing. I think this one might end up coming out on top.
Andor.
What was the other one? Sorry.
Andor.
Oh yeah, no, I mentioned that one, but
you did. Okay. I missed.
If there was any more I'm missing, yeah. Well, either way, I think this one's probably going to end up scoring the highest out of the lot. It may very well be. Absolutely. It ain't going to be She-Hulk. I can guarantee you that.
No.
No.
That was worse than I thought it would be. To be honest with you, I was a little
I didn't
surprised
expect it to be that bad.
How fucking bad that was.
Shocking.
So, I mean, am I going to blame a normie for sitting down and enjoying that? No, of course not. Like this, as far as quality goes, nobody's going to question HBO about, like, they've had a lot of practice at doing this. They spent $30 million an episode. It showed. The costuming was good. The language was like as far as like the dialogue sounded like Game of Thrones. It did. A couple scenes, but like you could tell George's influence is there, and that's huge. That's huge. But man, and I'm not going to be it. I'm with you. Even if it's like this in episode 5, I'm not going to trust it. I'm just not. Like that was. We were cut deep. A lot of us spent a lot of time.
When we have like a new thing destroying a character, and a lot of people are like, oh is this the worst one ever? I'm always sitting there thinking like Game of Thrones season 8, man, I don't know if you'll ever beat that. That was like 10 years of characters, like 20 different characters all getting annihilated in one season. And it's the kind of thing where it just starts tumbling the second you speak to anybody who felt the same way, where you go, remember how Varys was like defeated intellectually by everybody? Remember how Littlefinger was defeated intellectually by 2 little girls? Remember how Stannis killed his own daughter and then was defeated by Ramsay fucking Bolton? Like you remember, basically take a character from Game of Thrones, the last thing you'd expect to happen to them, that's what happened to them. And it's like, oh great. And most of the time they brought it on themselves by doing things they would never do. So you remember how it was all that in a row, and then of course annihilating the point of the show, which was that ultimately we should all try and avoid squabbling, working together to make sure we have a place to coexist within. They knocked that right out and opted for the 2 women trying to kill each other. It's like, okay. And then she's McQueen and all that,
I don't want it. Hey, we're gonna get a Jon Snow show though.
Oh yeah, man!
That'd be great.
That was another thing I was talking to a friend about. I was like, if they had nailed it, the ending of like season 8, we probably would have had we probably would have 2 or 3 seasons into another Game of Thrones show by now.
Absolutely. Well, they went back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
What Star Wars should have done. I mean, like if this ends up good, we'll find out. Okay, and I'll address House of the Patriarchy. I will definitely address it because it's legit. It's a legit complaint, especially considering everything we've gotten. And you know what? The creatives have to think about that too. Like, are we going with a similar theme than pretty much every damn show that's come out in the last 5 years? I mean, that's something you'd need to think about. Are you following a trend that might not be an upward trend? You know what I'm saying? And it looks like because the show kind of rallies to this episode rallies towards I think it's called Fire Will Rain, right? I think Fire Will Rain is the name of this episode.
All right.
It rallies towards the end. It gets better as it goes on. It's pretty slow though, because they have to put so many pieces together, and unless you're a book reader, you're going to have to familiarize yourself with the houses. And I know a lot of like watch parties and stuff with Game of Thrones had their book guy or girl there and filling in the blanks to mom and dad who are like, Baratha, what? Yeah, and that's normal. It was quality wise, top notch. Story wise, I mean, some cool, like Matt Smith, dude, like is the only thing he like owns this episode. He's great, and we get to see Doctor Who banging.
That's the thing. I don't think anybody expected anything different. I think we knew he was going to be good. He is. To be perfectly honest with you, there was no actor that I thought was doing a bad job. I wonder if maybe once the whole season's out and if I did a rewatch, I could be a little bit more straightforward in terms of how I feel. But like Reese fans playing Otto Hightower, I'm liking him, and I'm like, all right, this guy seems like he's got a brain on him. He seems like, all right, hopefully maybe this will be a guy I can attach to. Because
he's gonna be your Tywin.
Fucking, I need a Tywin, that's actually one of the things when you have like a new, because this is a new show in a new environment, new characters, new families in a way to take advantage of. I'm gonna need at least one character to bind myself to guide me through this crazy world for my first run. When I go back and understand everything. That's how I did with Game of Thrones, right? The scene I think that a lot of people like to reference when Jon and Tyrion meet. In Game of Thrones, those two people like them real quick because they're like ugly ducklings in both of their families, and their stories like reflect each other and stuff. And there's a lot of great inspirational lines like, I like these guys. Then of course you had Sean Bean. Everyone just likes Sean Bean. And Eddard is like a really respectful guy. So it's like you got a couple of people that you can at least cling on to, even if you're like Lannister. Okay. Oh, there's incest. I don't know what that means. Oh, there's people getting thrown out windows. Yeah, I'll just this Eddard guy. He's trying to make stuff work on this council. I understand that. I'll follow. I hope to have some of that, you know. And yeah, I'm interested in Otto. I'm interested in. We were calling him Doctor Who because we just Doctor Who's chopping off heads and penises.
I know, dude. The doctor killing it. But no, Matt Smith is a great actor. He is, and he was great as the 11th Doctor, one of my favorites. And he's freaking fantastic as Daemon Targaryen. There's like no other way around it. Like if this show succeeds, like this dude just got catapulted into mega stardom because like he is kind of made for the role. So Daemon Targaryen, for those of you who don't read the books, I'll be saying that a lot, so apologies, is the Red Viper. He's the Red Viper. They'll probably make him bi. He's not bi, but they'll probably make him bi in the show, whatever. But he's the Red Viper. He's the Rogue Prince. And except you get to see his origin in this episode. I also thought Patty Constantine did a pretty good job as Viserys Targaryen. I think because he's not written very well in the book. He's just kind of a drunkard doofus, you know. And in the show, it's more of he makes people believe that, and he's something else behind the scenes, especially at the end. Like that gets revealed at the end of the episode, where like this guy knows what he's talking about. Origin quote, it's a quote origin, okay, of like you get to with you don't really get to see the beginnings of a lot of characters. You hear backgrounds, and that gets missed in the show, right? Because in the books, obviously, you're in people's heads. You can hear their inner monologue, and you get a lot more. But it's Daemon's beginnings in this were pretty good. They showed him like start the gold cloaks. He's the one who started the gold cloaks. They were just kind of an undisciplined, quote unquote, police force that he puts together, and it's to give him something to do because he was master of coin. He was also the master of laws, which they didn't have that one of those in Game of Thrones, by the way. And Otto Hightower just wanted him out of. Otto does not like him because they fear he's Maegor the Cruel. So, give you a quick backstory. A generation ago, there was a king called Maegor the Cruel, and he was cruel. He was horrible. He was a horrible, horrible king. And they fear that will happen again. And right now, the Targaryens are at the height of their power. They have the most they will have the most dragons. The most Targaryens, but we all know what happens. I mean, like they put it in the special features for Game of Thrones, you know. So the blacks and the greens, the dance of the dragons. That's what this is, the Targaryen Civil War. Is there anything that stood out to you that you didn't like?
Things I didn't like. I felt like when they said a Song of Ice and Fire at the end, it hurt my head.
Yeah, that hurt my head too.
That whole little bit at the end felt like, hey guys, we've even got people kind of who are aware that Game of Thrones will happen eventually. It's just like, okay. Just stay away from Game of Thrones. You're fine. You'll be fine. Yeah, and then the Game of Thrones like full-on theme is just playing. I thought that was distracting too. I thought they would want to stay away from it. That's all. Just prove you're gonna be fine on your own show. That's how good you are. You're gonna be just fine. But he's like, oh, the long winter with the end of man. We'll need a. This is such a like I said. I'm happy to admit I'm just fucking biased. When he said like, oh, we're gonna need a Targaryen on the throne to unite men. I was just thinking about fucking Daenerys setting people on fire, like what?
Little children.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. I agree. So at the very end, we'll talk. I mean, all it is setup. So they're introducing characters, and this is essentially in the past. So they're gonna time jump eventually because there's two different characters playing. Rhaenyra's and there's two. Did I say? I always get Rhaenys and Rhaenyra's mixed up. But Alicent Hightower they have the younger characters playing them now because obviously King Viserys is still alive. Now, after he passes, they're going to show older versions of the characters. So, some characters will be played by different actors and actresses, and Matt Smith is going to stay, which is good. Yeah, I didn't like that. So at the end, Viserys talks about Daenerys the Dreamer, and she, of course, foresaw the doom of Valyria. She also saw, she had a second dream. She saw the long night, the other long night, the second long night that was coming in Game of Thrones, which is not going to come in this show. So there's no reason to really ever bring it up because it's not going to happen in the show. You're not there is probably going to be some scenes up in the north, but it's just with one prince, right? And it's about getting a Stark alliance. I'll just say that, I won't tell you who, but it's with the Stark alliance, unless they make up some other stuff. But you're really not going to the north. They don't ever go to the wall unless they make up new stuff. They talk about it, but they don't ever go there.
The fact that they have him mentioning this long winter, that it cuts over and he's like, I, Rickon Stark, pledge allegiance from Winterfell. It's just like, yeah, I get you. Are you serious? Right? Like, calm down. I know you're going to want people to be like, I know Winterfell. Oh, ooh.
It's a Stark that you won't ever see, that you won't see until the end.
I know.
Like one scene I talk about and the end. That's it.
It felt so weird to me because like the rest of the episode felt like it was very much its own stuff, but then it, like at the end it wanted to be like, hey audience, we know you like Game of Thrones, and I'm like, do you? Is that what I like? Is that what you want to bank on? I don't know.
I like the political intrigue. I like the houses, but I also like the fact that there's this, there is the others out there and the White Walkers coming to get them all eventually. So all that political squabbling was for naught. But that ended up being the best part of the show. So this is basically what this show is going to be. It's just the political backstabbing and the intrigue, which I don't know. You probably would have want to lead with this. It'll feel, even with the disastrous season 8, kind of anticlimactic. But that's what Game of Thrones was. So they risk that. They do risk that. They have to change the ending a little bit because, for one, in the history, because I was just listening to it on the way back from Comic-Con, it goes on and on. The end just goes on and 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 on. Like you don't. There's no like hard stopping point. So that'll be interesting where they come up with that, because I couldn't tell you where they would end this. I heard. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, you lovely people. Hi, Nina. What's up? Wow, we got 2 people from the real BBC in the chat. Hello. I heard it's going to be 3 seasons, and they might make this an anthology, like recast, right, in 3 years and do Robert's Rebellion or Aegon's Conquest. Or
it's like, see, the thing about that is, like, back when I was a huge fan, I'd love to have seen Robert's Rebellion, but like with a bunch of younger actors, well cast, well acted, and well executed. But it just makes me sad because, like, the same goes, by the way. It's the exact same feeling as when a friend says, I haven't seen Game of Thrones, is it worth seeing? And I'm like, like, oh, MauLer, you showed me this clip of this Tywin character that you really like. He seems cool. Is there a lot of seasons? I'm like, yeah, but
some people are going to be excited because they have something to do on Sunday night now, right? And like, listen, HBO was smart. They released it at 6 p.m. Pacific time. That's when, not 3 in, not 12 in. So they're going to have the ability to have the water cooler talk. It's just, how many normies are going to be interested in that? I mean, like the hardcore George R. Martin fans and, curious pop culture commentators like ourselves are going to cover this, but like, is anybody else going to care? Even from the fans, Az was like, I don't give a shit. I'm not going to watch this. I don't care. And he watches everything. He watched Naomi. Okay. So I don't know. Here, we got a super chat here from ARF for $4.99. Thank you. By the way, I just wanted to let you all know I got my soundboard back. Very happy. I felt naked without it on Friday Night Tights. Gary Longman, thanks for joining us tonight. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. If you hear that thing in the background, it's my air conditioning. Again, I'm gonna I'm in a hotel room in Scottsdale. As my wife and I await the arrival of our youngest EFAPper and newest member of the fellowship, Lorenzo. Oh, congratulations.
Hey, congrats.
Papa. All right. I'm excited about that. I love young EFAPpers.
You probably shouldn't let them watch the show until they're like 18, but yes.
He's not going to understand a word anybody's saying. I bet you can like put him to sleep. He can get a full night's sleep to an EFAP.
It's true.
Yeah.
Still be going when you wake back up.
Then he'll just be a based, smart little kid when he, because we'll just be feeding into his brain. We love EFAP, by the way. Subscribe to MauLer. Watch EFAP on Saturdays.
Yeah, if you have a few free decades,
Yeah. So I really like the. All right. I guess I can briefly go over what happens in the episode. Let's do that, shall we?
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we open up with dragons. We open up with Rhaenys. I'm gonna get the names mixed up again because I've read the books and Rhaenys and Rhaenyra. Is it Rhaenys? Rhaenys is the queen who never was. Rhaenyra, or is Rhaenyra?
So I'm going to be honest with you. I'm relying on you for this because I take no. I'm not going to apologize for fucking up all the names at this point because this is early in the show. I don't know the source for this well at all. I'm gonna happily not remember people's names, and I'm gonna call Matt Smith. More than likely, more so than his actual name. Okay. It'll just be. I'll do the best I can. I'll probably point to characteristics and stuff, but that's just. I would have done this. If Game of Thrones were releasing and we were covering it season 1, I probably would have done the same thing. I'd have been like, Sean Bean, he's in it. This guy, the Hound, I'd remember him probably more than any other else. I'm just like, the Hound, how am I going to forget a name like that? But, it's George R. R. Martin names where a lot of them are similar and, fanciful. And you're like, oh, fuck, Ridden, Rar, and this? That's who they are.
So it's Rhaenyra is the heir, and she's the one who's flying on her dragon, Caraxes. And this is a story I've read twice because I don't like it. I wasn't gonna buy the book. I said in a live stream, I'm like, I'm not buying this effing book. F this book. I'm not buying anything from George R. R. Martin until he, I used to get all printings of his books and these collectible ones. I just nope, nothing till I get The Winds of Winter. Then my wife got me the book, so I read it, and it was it's fine. I like the histories and stuff. It's okay. I think it's his worst work. I think it's George's worst work in A Song of Ice and Fire, without a doubt. I would rather, the Dunk and Egg stories are much better. I would have much rather have seen that. I know there's no dragons, but there's just there's Bloodraven. He's my favorite. So, who's Elric basically. So it starts out with her flying down, and it's just a young version, and she's friends with Alicent Hightower. They're very close, a little closer than close.
Pretty close.
I think somebody got a little crush on somebody else. So Viserys is king. He is the son of King Jaehaerys, who had a 54-year reign. And it was right after Maegor, so the realm needed it. And he was a great king, but he didn't. His sons died, so they had to have a great council, it was a great council. And there was another great council. I'm going to get some stuff mixed up, but basically, the realm had to decide who would be his heir, and he said, "Hey, whoever you guys decide is fine." Now, the Maesters are not good. I'm sure a lot of you have figured that out. They're not good people. They're not. They're meddlesome, and I think
puppet mastery going on.
Lots of puppet mastery, and I think they'll go way more into it in this series. But they chose Viserys over Rhaenys, the queen that never was, even though she had a better claim. There was never a precedent that a woman couldn't sit the throne, so she's going to be the bitter one this entire series because she got passed over for Viserys. But if you look into it, Viserys, his reign wasn't terrible. It's a lot like he's better than Robert, but it was a lot like Robert's reign. There was still it's King's Landing and the realm prospered. for the most part, as much as it can. Westeros is a terrible place. It's not, like a lot of fantasy worlds, you're like, I'd like to live there. You would never want to live in Westeros. It's fucking horrible. I think the only one worse is the Marvel Cinematic Universe right now. I think we did a poll on that Friday night. I don't know who won, MauLer. We did a poll. What's the worst world to live in? The MC or Westeros. So this is all about succession, basically. Viserys thinks he's going to have a son. His wife is pregnant. She dies in childbirth. The child dies. This is during a tourney, and I thought it was really good how they did this. By the way, they juxtaposed her birth because she was in labor with what was going on at the tourney, and Daemon got his ass kicked by Sir Criston Cole, who's the Kingmaker. Comes up. He's big. He's a big character that comes up later. And you see like the Baratheons not being super happy. That comes up later. So it sets up a lot of stuff, but it's almost too much. I mean, like we catch a lot of stuff. We're good at it, because we watch a lot of pop culture. Not saying you're bad at it. You're busy. A lot of you have lives and stuff. And I just don't know how people are going to get invested in it. Cause like my bias is I've read the books. So I'm like, ooh, I get to see that house and that house. But like for people who don't give a shit, I don't know how they're going to get invested in this.
Yeah, and like I said, my bias is I'm disgruntled, but I will watch it anyway. And maybe they'll earn back my interest sort of thing. But yeah, I agree. I don't know how this will be absorbed by the average person. I don't know. Maybe they'll be reminiscing about how much they enjoyed watching the Game of Thrones episodes as they come out. And this is close enough. So, that'll be enough to just keep them going until they actually get binded into maybe some of the characters.
Right. And bringing up the White Walkers was dumb because you're teasing the audience who's going to think that they might see them.
Yeah.
Unless they do, which would just be terrible.
Do you remember the beginning where it's like, it is now, because I've got it on my screen, it is now the 9th year of King Viserys, the first Targaryen's reign, 172 years before the death of the Mad King Aerys and the birth of his daughter Daenerys Targaryen. It's like, okay, what does that have to do with anything? Like, why are you bringing that up? And it's like, well, because Daenerys Targaryen, she's like one of the main characters from Game of Thrones. You remember that show, right? You're like, yeah, I know. And it almost, I think it, in a sense, it's just like, it's so unnecessary. Let the show breathe. It doesn't need to be attached at the hip to Game of Thrones. It's probably better than it isn't, to be honest with you.
I totally agree with you. I think new theme, we've already got enough to remind you. You're in King's Landing for most of this series. You're in the Riverlands, you're in King's Landing, you're at the Storm's Land. You're on Westeros and Westeros proper. You're not even in the north, maybe a little bit in the Vale, but you're not in Essos. I think the closest you get is the Stepstones, and it's a chain of islands. And you might see like ships from Essos, but you're not going to go over there. So you're no Slaver's Bay or anything like that. You're going to be on Westeros proper. And yeah, and maybe they'll show a bunch of like you'll be back in Harrenhal and you'll see a lot of that stuff. But yeah, it's just going to be. I don't want to ruin it for everybody, but just don't look for a happy ending with this. Maybe that's what you expect, but I don't know. Like, as they like to point out, it's not 2011 anymore. 2011 were better times for television. Let's be real. Actors and writers, and they weren't afraid to do stuff. They weren't putting a bunch of rules on themselves. There wasn't this obsession with identity politics. People were just telling stories, and they were free to do with what they want. It ain't that world anymore. But I would argue, while I agree with their assessment that it's not that world, it's a world that they changed with their own fucking rules. Like these aren't rules that apply to me. If I was a creative, I wouldn't give a shit. I'd write whatever story I wanted to. And I think more people should, but they have their hands tied, and whatever. That's the bed you made. Now you have to lay in it. And now you have to make a Game of Thrones show. and you have to make a Game of Thrones show that, quite frankly, already has a lot of the elements in it that people are sick of. But George has the ability to write equally, right? So he'll have somebody bitching about the patriarchy, but that woman will be just as bad as the dude. Like they'll be, like at the end of this, and they're going to change this, folks. But at the end of this, it doesn't come out with like, oh, women are better rulers, because they're not. It's quite the opposite. It happens. So I don't know if they're going to lean into that message or not, and that's the wait and see with me.
I got a couple people are like letting me know how popular Daenerys is, as if I was trying to suggest something else. No, my point is just that talking about anything to do with Game of Thrones, as if to give a time reference through Daenerys and stuff. Like, not to quote Aslan, I do it a lot, but the whole like, don't tell me about the ancient texts. I was there when they were written. I was there when Daenerys was a popular name for a child that everyone regretted because she ended up murdering women and children. I was there. Trust me. I was obsessed with this show. I just I found it cringe that they let you know where this show is taking place based on the birth of Daenerys Targaryen. It's like, fuck off. That's just
right.
That's my feeling about it.
I have a decent knowledge of Fire and Blood. You know, if I do a video review of this, I'll have everything, all my I's dotted and T's crossed. But I have I could win lots of trivia contests with the Song of Ice and Fire. Like, I obsessively read those books for a long, long time. So that's why I was pissed, because the show wasn't the biggest thing to me. I'm a book fan more than the show fan, but I was like, well, shit, at least we'll get an ending and there'll be a battle. Like, MauLer and I, we documented all of this. If you want to go back on our channels, 3 years if you're new, that's okay. It's all there. It's all there, and on Nerdrotic Live. As a matter of fact, dude, my very first video on Nerdrotic Live is a live stream with you.
Oh wow, hey, that's neat. But I was going to say, my knowledge and familiarity with a lot of them more so because I was a show fan that read the books, and so had a bunch of bonus background information, and was able to toy around with it. I used to know it way better. It's all faded. They absolutely annihilated my interest, which we talked about this before, but I think this happened to you with Star Wars, right? It hasn't happened to me with Star Wars. Star Wars, I don't know if they could ever kill my interest with Star Wars because the OT is just sitting there forever in a comfy little spot in my brain. Meanwhile, Game of Thrones, they annihilated it for me. I haven't thought about Game of Thrones in so long that even to the point where it's like, can you name, the fathers of all the main characters and the families for just even in Westeros for the time around Game of Thrones era? And I'd just be like, fuck, I think I've forgotten most of them now. It's like, do you know the words of the houses? Like, I used to. I don't know if I do anymore. And that's just a matter of my passion was drawn right out of me, which is really unfortunate. But that's why you're going to have to help me out with a lot of the references when we go through these.
It's okay. And thanks for the birthday wishes, Caesar Sosa, for $1.99. I'll get all the super chats.
Oh, happy birthday! I didn't know it was your birthday.
I just had a birthday. Yeah, I'm not 30, but thank you.
Close enough.
Close enough to a second one. I'm closer to a second one than the first one. We'll just say that. We got a $50 super chat here from Jessica. Thank you, Jessica, for $50. I have been trying to send a super chat for a minute and nothing in it offensive. Testing for it now. Yeah, I heard that there was something wrong. Sorry, Jessica. Sorry you had to pay that much. Thank you. I appreciate you. That sounds like a YouTube. Oh, maybe it's a YouTube thing. I don't know. I have no idea. Okay, so we slowly go through Viserys expecting a son. And he invites all the lords, the great lords, to a tourney. They have a proper tourney. This totally sounds like George, like, you need to show a tourney, like a proper tourney, because and it's a good way to show the houses, show the political divides. Oh, and there's Corlys Velaryon, who is the husband of Rhaenys, the queen that never was. Huge character throughout this entire story. Arguably one of the most interesting characters, a character that George. So Fire and Blood is based on the Blacks and the Greens, the Rogue Prince. I forgot the other one. So 3 short stories. Sure.
I've seen a couple people bring it up, and this was actually something I was talking to the friend I was watching it with. You know that what he does in the jousting, Matt Smith. I didn't know that I've never seen that in a joust before, to the point where I was like, is that even allowed? Are you allowed to do that?
Oh, I would not know. I was in Westeros. I think yes.
Because I was just like, oh, because I was expecting him to do something, right? Because they set in the scene to be like, he's gonna do a thing. But when he did that, I was like, what the fuck? Like, you allowed to do that? Jeez.
Probably not, but he's the prince, so
right.
That's Damon will push boundaries. That's what he does. And he's a super complex character, but honestly, he just wants his brother's love. He's just a little brother. And does he get fucked over? Kind of, because but he's not wrong. He tells his brother the truth, and that's a common theme in A Song of Ice and Fire is people who try to tell the truth, either if it's brutal honesty or honorable, like Ned, get fucked over every time.
Yeah.
And you'll see mirrored characters, but real quick, it's based on 3 short stories that were written between, I think, 2010 and 2013. If I got the years wrong, I don't care. And it got combined into The Dance with Dragons, which is based on, I think, maybe an earlier story that he wrote. He wrote a bunch and George went in and reworked them, re-edited them, and then added a bunch of Jaehaerys stuff in Fire and Blood, I believe, and a bunch of Corlys Velaryon stuff, like making this dude just damn near a Gary Sue. He's sailed Westeros 9 times, possibly been to Valeria, what's left of it, been to a Shy, and got himself incredibly rich. So the Valerians are from Valeria, but they're not dragon riders. They arrived at Westeros before the Targaryens, hundreds of years, maybe even 1,000 years. I don't know. And they're on Driftmark, which is an island above Dragonstone, which is, off of King's Landing. And obviously that's where the Targaryens landed, was Dragonstone. So long story short is George went in and rewrote it and made the guy like a complete fucking badass. So he's the Lord of Ships. And he has a ton of respect. He wasn't shown a ton of respect in this. And I guess that's something they changed, but like people have respect for him. He's he doesn't look like a Valerian as George has described them. They have changed the skin color of Valerians. The Valerians are supposed to be like elves, purple eyes, silver blonde hair. And the Valerian Empire went and fucked a lot of people, and they had a slave trade, which may have been the thing that did them in. So does the skin color matter that much to me? Not really. I think the hair is the most ridiculous part. I'll be frank, because like his beard doesn't match his hair. I'm like, why do that then? Why have a beard if it's not going to match? It just looks silly. It looks effing silly. That's the only thing. I'm just like, lose the wig. I don't care if you're a Valerian. Also, there is an issue later on, possibly, unless they change it, with some descendants. We'll say there might be some questioning of maybe somebody's a bastard, maybe he's not. Can't really tell. Now you're going to be able to tell. You're going to be able to tell now because of the blonde hair and the dark beard. That's no. But we can't mention that stuff anymore. But I will. I don't give a shit. I'll mention that stuff. It's ridiculous. Especially with George's world is set up. There's Summer Islanders. There's Dornish. I mean, it was based. All of Westeros is based on Old English history and some Roman history and stuff. War of the Roses. So whatever. That wasn't my biggest issue. I thought the actor was fine. He plays a huge role in this. And we'll see how he does. We'll see if how he does. But we definitely acknowledged it. So we have the tourney. The series doesn't have an heir. So Otto Hightower, the council calls the king in, and they his wife just died and his kid just died, and they start talking to him about secession immediately.
Yeah.
Which I guess is important. I don't know how important, but Otto definitely does not want Daemon Targaryen sitting the throne, and Daemon does himself in at the end. In the end, there's spies everywhere in King's Landing. You saw that guy Strong, right? So that's the Viserys of this story. And the deal with him is he's supposed to look like an oaf. I don't know if this guy.
Do you mean Varys?
Did I say Viserys? I'm sorry. Varys. Yeah, Varys.
Yeah, okay.
So he's supposed to be the Varys. Otto Strong. And in the book, I think his name is Otto. Can't remember. No, it's Otto Hightower, but Strong is his last name. He's supposed to look like an oaf, like a big thuggy oaf, but who's really fucking smart. But he doesn't talk very much. So that's why he's like a really good master of whispers, because people underestimate him. I don't know if this guy pulls that off really. And he's barely in it, but he's the only one who says a woman cannot sit the throne, and Viserys is a little bit bummed. They has to choose between his brother and his daughter, but then Daemon goes to a party with his gold cloaks and makes it very easy. He salutes the heir for a day, and Viserys finds out and basically banishes him from the city. Real quick, Daemon Targaryen is married to quote unquote his bronze bitch in the Vale, who is a lesbian, by the way. And so it was just an arranged marriage, and he has no interest in it. He gets sent back by Viserys. He will not sit the Iron Throne, and they give it to Rhaenyra instead. So they break the precedent from the Council of 101, which did you catch a lot of that, MauLer? The Council of 101. Did they explain that enough to you?
I would have to rewatch the episode, stuff like that. I was
Did you get drunk. That like that's okay. So I'll ask you this question. Did they get did you sorry, my wife just came in. So did they explain it well enough to you that a dude, it has to be a dude on the throne? Do you feel like that was explained enough?
I feel like I shouldn't blame the show too much, because I was getting a little bit lost because I was trying to keep track of who's who. And I had this problem when I watched Game of Thrones. I'll be completely honest with you. When I first watched Game of Thrones, I had to rewatch the first episode before I fully grasped everything. So I'm willing to give the show that benefit of the doubt as well. But did I grasp that? Probably not. No,
I didn't feel like they explained it enough. Like there was a council prior that really set the precedent that it has to be a male heir. They showed a bitter queen saying, "Oh, a woman will never sit the throne," but they never really like broke down why that was. And it was the Maesters who maybe Rhaenyra's should have been on the throne, and maybe they'll explain that later. I just felt like that was kind of important for the first episode, so they kind of brushed past it. Maybe they're hoping a lot of people will watch it twice. It's long. It's an hour and 14 minutes long, I think, with credits.
Yeah. I was I don't know how because you mentioned that you quite like the sort of parallels of the birthing quote unquote scene versus the I was quite almost surprised by that. I thought it was pretty rough when you have the lady who's just like, what's going on? He's like, everything's gonna be fine, and they start pinning her down, and they just cut her open. That's the way to do it. Though, what's crazy about it is when they had the wider shot of it, I was like, there would be so much more blood than that.
I can having sat in a room with a lady who had to get cut open, there would be a lot more.
I was actually surprised. It felt like they had held restraint, because I would have thought they'd want to portray that as grim, because that was a grim scene. Like it was rough, and I think it helps us sort of understand the plight of the king, that he made that decision and then both of them die. Like that's like, whoa. Yeah,
it was harsh. Really harsh.
But yeah, no, that scene surprised me. I was just like, damn, that was harsh to watch. That poor woman. Oof.
And again, the actress who played her really well. She doesn't have a lot of characterization in the story itself. So like it she had a pretty good scene in there where she's like, I'm sorry I didn't give you an heir. I tried, you know. The king could have made her feel a little better there. Didn't. I hated that choice. But of course they're going to do that in this, and that's some of the stuff that I saw that was leaning into it. Like like he obviously likes his wife, right? So he's like tells his wife, "Hey, it's cool. I don't need another." He's like, we aren't doing any more kids after this. This is before she had the baby, and yeah. So like him sitting there silent just absolutely felt like, oh, they can't have him respond here and make her feel better. They got to make him look like a dick. And I'm like, fuck that. I didn't like that. But that's going to be the stuff we're going to have to get over. And I guess that's the question, especially for the audience around here, my fellow audience members. Like, how much are you willing to put up with now? Like, especially after fucking She-Hulk. There is like, people are fed up, dude. They're just like, I'm done with this shit. I'm canceling subscriptions. I'll read old books. I'll fucking mow the lawn. I will do my taxes before I watch Game of Thrones again. So I don't know, man. I'm sure it'll have great ratings, but this needs to have, with Zaslav out there with his, with his chopper, with his axe, nuking shit.
He's snapping.
Like they spent a ton of money marketing this and $30 million. I mean, this is a huge tent pole, the biggest thing they've got practically. It needs to work. It really needs to work. Is this thing going to bring in that kind of money? Like, how do you quantify? We know how to quantify movies, right? So it's like 3 times the cost of the movie. How do you quantify a streaming show?
I feel like I missed a meeting. I thought it was double. When did it become triple?
Triple is when marketing expenses went up, right? So you need to
relatively recently, like a year or two ago.
Yeah,
because I felt like we always said double, but now everyone's saying triple, and I was like, oh,
everybody
shit,
says triple.
Yeah,
which tells me it's always been triple. Okay, but even if they have to double it, right? So this thing needs to bring HBO Max subscribers? So it's got to be subscriber money. That has to be. Well, I don't know what 30. It's $300 million, so $600 million, maybe. Or if it only gets watched by 2 million people, 3 million people, I don't think that's enough. I think they want 10 million, 18 million. Remember when this was the most pirated show of all time?
Do you think they should have gone with like doing a show about Robert's Rebellion instead? I think that would have given them more. Would that be a safer choice, do you think? Because they would of course be like in the can you imagine the trailer? They would just be saying everyone's names from Game of Thrones, basically. They're all younger versions.
And I'm sure they thought about it.
Yeah, it's all your favorite. I mean, I'm assuming you're relatively on board with this, but the correct decision was remaking season 8. It was just a complete remake. Yes. You have all your actors. Fuck it. There's no reason not to. It would have been such a cool precedent to set, where it's just like, look, we're gonna give you a different story. Fuck it, call it 2 different timelines. Whatever you want to do, just make another one, because that was terrible. And you're gonna make them. People will be like, okay, I'll give you a second chance. Like if we're redoing all this,
it would have been massively huge. They would have made all their money back, all of it.
I feel like because the only reason people wouldn't do that is because that sounds absurd, doesn't it? And it's just not been done before. But it's like, fuck it, why not do it?
Yeah, I mean, like, we're past the part of like, unless it's Quentin Tarantino or Nolan, like nobody gives a shit about your ego anymore. The money that goes into these things, that's why they're too big to succeed now. That's why they're so producer driven. Like even this felt really corporate in the beginning, like just how they were setting up the scenes, and like it just looked really produced, It didn't look natural on screen until like later on for me.
I think I've got a bit of a cynical viewpoint in the sense of that of like when I just see a small council talking about things, and then the tournament, and then some boobies and some gore, I'm just like, this really does feel like it was the correct amount of, like they made it in a lab. They were like, we need to make sure we have this, and do. Now that's not to say that this isn't going to work really well. It may very well. Like who knows? Maybe I'll love this season by the time it hits the end of it. I don't know. I'm just saying that it really felt like it wanted to make sure it hit all of the normal hallmarks to let people know, hey, you liked Game of Thrones. You liked watching it once per week. You liked doing that for several years. we're offering that starting up again. Get ready. This is good. But it's just like, you know, they have to work way harder because they've not got any characters to push people into it. They've got to set up a bunch of new ones, and you know, they got some really great acting talent here, and hopefully, I think there's some evidence of it, but hopefully some good dialogue writers and writers in general.
Yeah.
And you know, will they be able to pull it off? I suppose you and I will be discussing that as time goes on. Will they be able to pull it off?
Right. For one, I'll be at home, so these episodes will start earlier. But I don't know because as you know, the thing we like the most, the thing that's most important is characters. We need to give a shit about these characters. And I think everybody's going to like Matt Smith, but are they going to like anybody else? You know, that's the question. They have good actors, dude. Like, again,
I'm
Patty
rooting for
Constantine.
Otto. Right, I want him to be my boy. Let's hope he is.
Yeah, I
don't know what's going to happen to him. That's the thing, because like I'm assuming you know all this. What's going to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to catch pieces from what you're saying, and I don't mind if anything is. I don't consider it spoiled. I'm there for the journey. I'll see what happens, but you know, because I really like the actor as well. So I'm hoping. All right.
I would never spoil anybody's fate. No, I'll let you guys find out. And they might change it. They might change some stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, what's the biggest takeaway will be like everybody's going to be talking about Matt Smith's Daemon Targaryen, despite all the, you know, this being about two women. They're going to think that it's good. Like, he's going to get all the cred for this. So speaking moistly for 50 Canadian pesos, thank you very much. Appreciate it. I fought with my older brother all the time. I lost all the time. He made me strong. I do not hate him or claim to be his victim. He made me strong. Competition makes you strong. Not crying victim. I have a great relationship with my older brother. Hey, that's awesome. That's what we're supposed to have. My sister, do you have any Eldridge God siblings?
Yeah. I'm the youngest in the Eldritch family tree.
Oh, okay.
So lots of, I mean, I had elder sisters. There's a reason why I was indoctrinated to Buffy at first, because they were watching it because it's the teen girl drama show, and then I was like, "What you watching?" And then I've told people this before. I've always found it funny, the comparison of Supernatural to Buffy, who'd be like, one's for boys, one's for girls. When and then like every once in a while, I'll just be like, "Are you sure?" Because some of the stuff that happens, I don't know. But yeah, you know, just the yes, lots of sisters, fun times watching lots of movies, TV shows growing up.
I got two sisters. My older sister brutalized me.
Oh,
and I thank her for it. It's fine. Oh yeah, it's fine. That's what the older sisters do. The Godfather 2021 for $20 says Game of Thrones had a very strong opening. It did. Exceptional middle. Yes. But a Shyamalan end. M. Night Shyamalan ending.
Yeah.
Even Shyamalan managed to end a couple of his movies okay. You have to nail the beginning and the end, which is why prequels don't make sense. I could not agree more. Stop making prequels. I fucking hate them. Unless you do something on the Faceless Men, anything east of Westeros, or you know what, Doom of Valyria, or I mean, you asked me about Robert's Rebellion. I understand why they picked this one. Dragons. There's lots of dragons. So they were thinking straight up for the normies. The normies like dragons. We can't do the zombies, but we can do twice as many dragons. Great.
People like their dragons.
They like their dragons, huh? Remember when Daenerys kind of forgot about the Iron Fleet?
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Did people like that scene?
Interview.
Did people like the scene where the dragon just gets shot and dies?
No, I think a lot of people were upset about that. And it's funny because like I would have thought that they would have concluded via like punching numbers into calculators and stuff that people would have been more on board with the Robert Rebellion sort of thing, just because again, like I could just see it now, the trailer just being like, Oh, look, it's a young Eddard. Look at him over there. He's not in the position you'd think he's in. Oh, look, Robert's there, and he's not fat. He's lean, and look at he's buff, and he's so handsome. Look at his hammer. Oh, yeah, remember he kind of talked about this in Game of Thrones. I would have thought that they would bank on that, but maybe this is a tester, and then that will be a sort of haymaker, if you will, to trying to get Game of Thrones back into the cultural zeitgeist.
Oh, there's a lot of channels open, so
Yeah.
Those channels are still doing all right, but it's never gonna be. No, this story can't be what Game of Thrones was. So I'm sure they're like, if we can catch a percentage of it, but this story can never be what Game of Thrones was. It just can't. So I think maybe they're thinking maybe this can be the Breaking Bad of fantasy. I'm not kidding at all, by the way. Better Call Saul had a pretty good ending. I did like the ending, dude. But yeah, I don't know if people are like ready for that, because I mean, what pissed everybody off about season 8 was the White Walkers didn't even get past their front door, like basically, and they just died in one episode that nobody could see. They looks like they fixed their little dark problem in this, by the way. You do know that the co-showrunner for this show is the guy who directed The Long Night, Miguel Sapochnik. Okay.
Sapochnik, yeah. Who I'm sure he's not going to make that mistake again. That's one for a career, I think. Nah, he won't be doing that again.
Well, Ryan Condell said some stupid shit like most showrunners do. But, I mean, he ran a show that some people... I didn't care for it very much, but a lot of people liked it, The Colony. So... he seems competent. I would have had much more faith like 6 years ago. I mean, not just not faith in Game of Thrones. I don't have faith in Hollywood right now to make anything fucking good. So like, little applause for making something tolerable that I watched and like go, man, I didn't fucking hate that. But
I guess that counts for a lot. I'm not going to deny it. Like was mentioned, She-Hulk, for example. We went in thinking, oh, that'll be bad, and it was like, holy fuck, what the hell was that? Meanwhile, I had low expectations, and I was like, okay, maybe that's what I should be saying. So some people are really waiting for a particular sort of way of reviewing it, right? Like some people want a number, some people want like a blurb, some people want a breakdown of each scene. Maybe this will help. Like it was better than I thought it would be, but I'm pretty damn pessimistic right now, so I don't know what that means exactly.
Totally agree. I am not willing to sign off on it and recommend that you go running back to Game of Thrones and watch it. No way. It was very pretty, but I mean, if you want to just compare it to first episodes, it's nowhere near as good as the first episode of Game of Thrones. Like, as far as story is concerned, of being compelling, like drawing you in, it's got work to do, especially since there's going to be a massive time jump that you all know about because you see in the trailer. There's, there's different characters. There's different actors playing the same character. I'm going to read some super chats. Oh, but okay. Let me finish the episode real quick. This is how I review, by the way. Stream of consciousness. So after Daemon Targaryen is banished, they make Rhaenyra the heir, right? And then they have to burn the bodies of mom first, mom and the son, which was again, it was a pretty good scene. A Daemon comes up to her and goes like, "Hey, your dad needs you," and she's like, "Hey, he's been wanting a son this whole time." And you got to do your duty, and you're like it for him. You're it. And Viserys isn't like a horrible king. He's not a horrible guy considering the world they're in. Which I thought was a very good choice to make. Don't make, like Robert. Robert wasn't the greatest guy in the world, but he wasn't totally evil. Like, he just didn't like to be king. He wanted to go out and battle.
You could both say complex or simple. You could really go with either direction thinking about it. Because Robert, I think a lot of people would want to box him in, but he had a little bit more going on than would be expected, right? Like, because he made such an impression. Mark Addy, right, was the actor who played him. Excellent fucking casting choice. He's not even in the show for very long, but everyone remembers a lot of his. Remember, he's like, "Get on with it before I piss myself." Just getting drunk in the tournament. he was presence as hell, and him and Ned really good back and forth. Even when they were ripping into each other for like the because he was trying to sign off on killing Daenerys, wasn't he?
Yep,
Season
and he
1
wouldn't do it.
Yeah, and the one, see, this was when I was super into the show. I remember when he's on his deathbed and he's getting that thing signed for Ned about like how the succession's going to work and stuff, and I was just like, oh, please just let a few people witness it. Like, get some people in here. Get like, I'm begging you.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up because a bunch of people witnessed this. People swore oaths, but it's probably not going to matter. And you know, that's what the big setup is the what happens later, obviously, and it leads to this just massive war. And it was interesting that Rhaenyra is like, you know, it's been 40 years since Maegor, and it's actually been 50. I don't know why she said 40. It's been 50, right? And all these are just sweet summer children. So somebody had to say that in the episode. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be way more soap opera, political intrigue, House of Cards kind of shit, and then you'll get like some dragon battles. And maybe that'll work for some people. Maybe it'll be good. Or maybe it'll be a woke piece of crap. We don't know. But it wasn't overly intersectional. But that could change. That could totally change. Because like I said, the women in this are, I mean, they're not all good. They're not all Mary Sue's. They're pretty horrible. George likes to do the shades of gray thing quite a bit. So it ends there. She is the heir to the throne. And for those of you who read the book, you know what happens. For those who didn't, you can read the book or you can watch your special features on, I believe it's season 6. Season 6. It's been a while. There's an animated, you can watch it on YouTube. It tells you the whole damn story. It tells you, like, you don't get any like little details, but it tells you the whole story. I'm wondering if they're going to bring in Mushroom, because I haven't heard about casting of Mushroom. So who's Mushroom? Mushroom is the court jester that comes in later, much later. So I told you that this was based on a false history of a maester gathering a septon. The information from a septon, another maester, and a fool, a court jester named Mushroom, who's foul-mouthed, and he's also a little person like Tyrion. And what George likes to do is have mirror characters, because this whole story was supposed to mirror like what happens in A Song of Ice and Fire. It foreshadows stuff, and now they're making a whole series on it. So what happened after Robert Baratheon, very similar circumstance. We We've got Editor MG. Thank you for the $1.50. I appreciate it. But yeah, I had like you lowest expectations in the world for this.
Yeah, and I'm almost like, I hope I'm disappointed to a lot of people in terms of I don't have a lot to say yet. I'll have more when we have more content to sort of see more of what they're doing, because I got trust issues, okay, with these people.
You should. And I think it will be interesting to see how long they have the younger actors play Alicent and Rhaenyra, since they're so important, and how it jives with the older actresses, because that's kind of important with character arcs and stuff. You know, you get also attached.
Just wanted to point out as well how insane this is. Because just the other day I did a breakdown of the She-Hulk episode with a couple of people, and then it's like doing this today. Obviously, Andor will be out at the beginning of next month, right, along with Rings of Power, and it's like all those seasons will be running at the same time, and that's on top of the normal stuff that we do. It's just like it's gonna be an interesting time, folks.
Oh yeah, I got to meet the Nerdrotic staff like in person for the first time, which was fucking awesome. And I also said, yeah, don't make any plans for the next 2 months. Have fun now. We just did a big Vegas thing, if you're wondering. That's why I'm on the road, and it was great. It was fantastic meeting everybody, and we'll talk about that more. I want to stick with the show. Let's get some soups.
One thing to mention, because I was just scanning through the episode, the fight. I appreciate the angle as well that he didn't win that fight in the tourney, but
yes,
didn't really like the way the fight was filmed. It was cutting constantly, and the camera was so damn close to him. I know that they're going for a vibe with it, but I wish they'd have a little bit more restraint because I wanted to understand how someone was either winning or losing instead of just seeing clashing and just stuff, you know?
Yeah, that I believe this one was directed by Miguel Sapochnik, and aside from The Long Night, he's done some pretty good stuff. But some of the fight, that's not the only time they did that, and I think it's to cover up just bad combat.
I'm so fucking tired of bad fight scenes, man.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it counts as a fight scene, but the She-Hulk one was one of the most hilarious things I have ever fucking
fight with
seen.
Titania at the back.
Oh so my god!
Like, what are they doing?
Yeah, that, and then teleports with table, and then teleports into kicking. That was incredible. I can't believe they actually put that out there. The editor must have been so embarrassed when he completed that. He must have been like, "Oh shit, will this pass? Oh yeah, they're saying it's okay. All right, fuck it, let's go it out. I guess, yeah."
Yep. It's gonna get you someday. Creatives might want to think twice about working for Disney Marvel. Maybe you'll work for Zaslav, but he expects results. They expect results in the private sector, you know. They said that in Ghostbusters. Bass player.
I was going to say quickly, it's probably worth mentioning. So the reason that's good that was brought up is like She-Hulk's another level. This is like that fight scene. It's like I can survive watching stuff like that. I just wish it were better. Meanwhile, She-Hulk is like, I am laughing, so I couldn't believe that Disney would put something like that out. But that's where we're at. So,
would you watch this episode again, or are you like, I'm good, I'll wait for the next one?
That's a good question. It's going to be based on whether or not I think I gave it a fair shake or not. And that'll be based on how much I might watch it again just for the sake of trying to get to know these people so that I can better have references to break these episodes down. Feels like it's important that I do that. I shouldn't just shit because, like, you know, like She-Hulk, I don't need to see that twice. Like, once is more than enough. But this is an actual story that someone's trying to tell. So I'm like, okay, I'll try and treat you with some respect and actually try and learn these names and understand the dynamics so I can either be critical or praiseworthy of the different things that are happening. So yeah, I might watch it again, but it's more so out of respect for references rather than I would like to because I'm so invested. But again, not really the show's fault. We're only in one episode, you know. It took me I had to watch Game of Thrones. I think I watched the first and second episode, and then I forgot to continue. And then the second time I watched the first and second episode, I got so hooked I blasted through the whole thing. At the time, only 2 seasons were out, and I got very angry when I ran out. I was like, I require more episodes.
So yeah, I watched the first 4 kind of inconsistently, and then I was working in Hollywood at the time, so I was just I was waiting for something to render at work. I had 4 hours. I'm like, that's 4 episodes of Game of Thrones. I think I'll watch them all. So I watched them all in Technicolor on this big screen, and that's what hooked me in. So I was liking it, but then when I saw the 4 back to back, the first 4, I was like, oh, this is my favorite thing in the world right now. This is great. This is going to be, oh my god, this is a revolution of television fan. Oh my god, we got another fantasy thing that's good. Oh, sweet summer child.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was just gonna say I still remember watching the premiere for. Is it the premiere of season 3 with Tywin burns, or is it? It is the season 3 premiere, right? Where he burns the ice sheath.
Where he breaks it down into 2 swords. Yeah. That's yes.
I remember being like, "Fuck! What a fucking asshole thing to do." That's so totally a thing he would do. Yeah, it's just like, yep, he would totally do that.
Bass player 2011 Iffy just spent an hour with a few guys in MauLer's Discord comparing the Game of Thrones pilot to the House of the Dragon pilot, and just the cinematography and lighting alone in the House of Dragon pales in comparison to Game of Thrones. Never mind the plot. And the lead walls stick out like a sore thumb. That I don't like the Iron Throne in this. I never loved it in the original show. At least they have like the king being cut. But it looks stupid. Like, why is there a bunch of melted swords in front of the? I mean, just guys, fuck it. Just separate completely from. You know what could happen? Say this show is well received and people like it. You can just remake Game of Thrones later.
You could. You really could. Yeah. And then you can go different directions, and you can play with people's expectations, and you can hire a bunch of new actors that are all really talented, and don't hire D&D.
We don't live in that reality. Do you know that, right? Like CERN was switched on. We were all together. Well, you live in your own reality, as tentacled bastard. But those us mortals, fucking CERN got turned on at some point. And yeah, we live in the reality of Ghostbusters 2016, The Last Jedi, Kurtzman Trek, Chibnall Who, fucking Rings of Power.
Mm-hmm. You can just say the MCU. You don't even need to say
MCU.
I was gonna say because like it was a gradual kind of decay, wasn't it? It wasn't like, I guess you could say Phase 4, but even pieces of Phase 3, you know.
Yep. Oh, and to answer your question from before the show, I feel fully vindicated. Absolutely using the term MCU over and over again. I have no regrets.
Well, I was gonna ask, where did it start? Because I'm seeing it everywhere now. Like, was that you or was it someone else?
It was me. Yeah, it was me. I'm taking. Yeah. It was.
Take credits.
Dude, I think it was right after Captain Marvel, and we were going off in a chat, and people were going like, we were talking about Heroes, and then somebody said the MCPU, and I went the MCU. That was it. You know,
the rest is history.
The rest is history.
Yeah, because we're still not done introducing our new female heroes, right? We still got Ironheart's on the way. Fucking what's
Agatha? The House of Harkness.
Oh, and of course Scarlet Witch. She's going to be a hero again soon enough. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, Echo.
Yeah, Echo. That's another one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And hopefully, some random character in Echo ends up getting their own TV show as well.
You know, nothing says female empowerment like writing all the female characters like insufferable bitches that act like dudes. I mean, you know, that's the way
I couldn't believe that once again with Jennifer, they wrote some. She's one of the worst. She-Hulk. She is one of the worst ones they've done so far, because a lot of them, they always do the thing where they have to be smug as fuck. I don't know why they always write them that way, but she's wow, they cranked that to 11, didn't they?
They did, and why people are mad, why the comic book fans are mad, and like, even if, I mean, you had a decent knowledge of who she was. She was the fun one. She was the fun person that we liked. We laughed. She also kicked ass, and they fucked with like a very popular character.
Well, this one more than the others I've seen. I have been seeing so many people sharing so many panels from comic books being like, by the way, this is supposed to be what she's like. And you read it, you're like, oh wow, she cares about Bruce and is supportive of him. That's weird.
Totally. She's super nice. She's nice, fun, confident, and okay. One of the reasons I married my wife, and one of the reasons I love X-Ray Girl as a producer, I've said this publicly, I'm probably going to get too mushy, but they're both unflappable people. Absolutely. You can like joke with them, whatever. They're like, whatever. That's confidence. That's what you want to, that's what She-Hulk is supposed to be presenting to everyone. Maybe Jennifer Walters was a little, she lacked confidence, but when she was She-Hulk, she did not. And part of being a completely secure person is not like coming off like an insufferable bitch. And you can still do that. You can still lack confidence confidence and not like have a soliloquy about being catcalled to a guy who tried to commit suicide and couldn't, wanted to die and couldn't, and's been to space for 2 years and has had the government trying to kill him for 2 years and is still considered a monster and scares, even in his Professor Hulk form, scares the shit out of people. I mean, we've forgotten all that. And as I said in my video, all the interesting stuff has happened off screen. You know, dude, I would have loved to have seen them like merge.
I've been watching arguments, not having them, because fuck having the arguments on like Twitter and stuff, but I've seen a lot of them, and man, there are people out there who are actually using the argument. Hulk hasn't talked about that since like Avengers. I don't think we should really consider that that's trauma for him at this point.
Okay. All right. You want to know why he hasn't talked about it? Because they have really moved away from the character, because Hulk represents toxic masculinity. He's a big angry green guy, and they can't show those. I said this 4 years ago. Hollywood right now is going to have a problem if they can't show heroes, especially in a superhero in the genre. They're superheroes, and you can't show men being heroes anymore. Well, then you're done. You're done. And then you can, you know, like even in, well, bring it back to House of the Dragon, there are times when, you know, Daemon, the kind of character that Daemon Targaryen is we could have that in Marvel too. Complexity, but it's not complex. It's a comedy. It's a sitcom. The whole damn stage, I'm not going to call it a phase, is a sitcom. So like, yeah, it's very sad, but it's dying. It's dying.
It's just like the fact that they've not talked about his trauma for long enough that people are like, that means it's no longer relevant. It's just like, man, that's one way to look at it, I guess. We just forget once it's. That's how they treat the blip. You see that quote where the Rise of She-Hulk were like, most people have moved on from the blip. Which is like, what do you mean moved on? We haven't even seen what it did yet. Jeez.
Yeah, it's horrible writing. It's absolutely horrible writing. No plan. They're screwed. And you're right. The Hulk will no longer be relevant soon, and neither will She-Hulk and anything else.
They want to benefit from other people's work while simultaneously not having to adhere to anything that work was built with. Like this,
so they can brag about like all the women they hired to direct and write who know jack shit about the source material.
Well, we're at the point where not only do they not, I don't even know that they've ever read a comic book at this point, but like they are, you know, you'd have a basic expectation, right? You're like, you come in to do, let's say, Avengers, like, well, you're gonna watch Iron Man, Cap, Thor, Iron Man 2, and Incredible Hulk, right? It's like, wait, yeah, of course. Why don't you know? I'll watch them in one night. I'll get them all. You know, I'll write the script and whatever. These days, when you're like, so person who's writing Doctor Strange 3, have you seen Doctor Strange 1 and 2? And then they'll be like, which ones was those? Was that Love and Thunder? And you're like, no, that. And then they'd be like, was he? I've seen the Avengers. I've seen a few of them. Which one of them had Doctor Strange in it?
Peter Parker hasn't brought up Uncle Ben in a while. It's not relevant anymore.
That's how it works, apparently. Yep. I don't. Yeah, I really hate that style of taking work forward where you just go like, whatever. If I can't remember, I'm sure most people don't. So,
okay. Right.
When you find with fandoms and nerddom and stuff, like a lot of us are like, I wonder if they're going to reference the pink slipper that it was in episode 1 when it was hidden underneath the thing, you know, like really hyper specific stuff because you're like waiting to be rewarded for being so invested. Meanwhile, you'll have people who are like, I don't know which was the first one with Loki in it. That was that was he in an Iron Man? I don't.
Their disdain for us, they've been hiding it. The creatives in Hollywood, they're not hiding it anymore. It's back out again. So it's the same disdain that they had before for nerds, and they've had to suffer us for so long. They have this massive resentment because we do remember that shit. That's why we're fucking nerds, and they cannot wait to get rid of us, dude.
That's what I'm saying about the whole like source material versus even they can't even watch the films they're making sequels to. Of course, they don't know what the source material. They're not familiar with that at all. No, remember who was it again? Who didn't know who Mephisto was? The people behind WandaVision, right?
Jack Schaefer, yeah, the showrunner for
incredible, absolutely incredible. And yeah, you know, the Rise of She-Hulk. You just want to ask it. man, I can already imagine the people who wrote the dialogue for that episode. If you said, can you name a single MCU hero, as in from the movies, who's attempted suicide? And if they couldn't answer that question, it would be like, you shouldn't be writing this show. Why are you here? Like, you need to leave. This is unacceptable.
No. They asked the question, have you written a feminist book? Yes, you're hired. Bass player 2011 Iffy for $50. Thank you very much. I'm keeping an eye on the time for you, MauLer. Got a couple more minutes for you. Just spent an hour with a few guys in MauLer. Oh, I read that one. So thanks again. I'm dumb. Tearing the Black for $1.99. So a random weird werewood in King's Landing, huh? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, why was there a werewood in King's Landing?
For those who don't know, a tree with a face on it.
Tree with the face on it. So George has changed that. Initially there were no southern werewood. That's why the first men and the children of the forest fought, and the Andals, they were all cutting them down. But I do believe there's one in the Riverlands. There's one in the Vale. I think they even talked about there being one at Castle Rock in Fire and Blood. So there's more, but there wasn't one in King's Landing, but there is now. Okay, cool. They never said there wasn't in the show, so that's what their excuse is going to be. Chris Valen for 10 British pounds. That's proper money. When I lived in Brazil, I had to process a new baby's name as part of my job, and I have come across at least 50,000 Khaleesi as first names over a 5-year period. Brazil absolutely adores Danny. Yeah, you probably regret that one, don't they?
Yeah.
Awkward. Well, maybe not. Maybe they're like, whatever. Slay Queen. Editor MG, thank you for the $1.50 donation. I appreciate it. I do. Lost History for $10. Hello, my fellow Tolkien fans. Get ready for a potential spoiler. Girthang, the Sword of Turin. Oh yeah, no. I think One Ring did talk about this. Will make an appearance in the Rings of Power. His grave is on the promotional material. Maps released by Amazon. Yeah, I did hear that. And that's the because they wanted to have their own broken sword, right? So why not find another broken sword? So that's what the little kid has. Is God.
You gotta have a broken sword, dude. Just
I hate Bad Robot so much and everything they're about. I can't talk about it. Yeah.
You're lagging a bit for me. I don't know if that's.
It's probably because it's probably me. Sorry. I have another page up, which probably hurts it. Let's see if I can fix that. I should probably look at my phone. Real quick. Night King for $9.99. I think it was really smart the way they interweave the tragedy of the monarchical society structure, because he wants his heir so much he is blind to his wife's pleas and ends up losing both son and wife. I mean, yeah, you can tell in that scene, right? He was sad.
Yeah,
he was sad. Yeah,
I think that's clearly what they were going for. That he chose the heir, and that cost him both of them, as opposed to he probably should have chosen the wife. But or I guess that's what they're going for. I'm not sure.
I will say, if they stick with the book, as far as like Queen Alicent and Rhaenyra, that they could really the patriarchal thing kind of gets flipped on its head. It's still, I mean, because ultimately what George is trying to tell you is this is a real world. It's random things will happen. People, like a hero that you're following dies accidentally of staph infection or something like that. Like he tries to drop those random elements where he saw they didn't exist in fantasy before. Now that's kind of the thing. And I think people are like really just thirsty for like a good old fashioned story where we're not like, it's not all nihilist and unreliable narrators. It's like, how about something a little linear now? I think the deconstruction has been deconstructed enough. I think we've gone beyond deconstructing. We've pulverized a lot of stories.
Yeah.
So, it still can be good as long as it's got compelling characters. That's the most important thing. That's it. So that's your hardest job, is making likable characters people are going to follow in a story with no likable characters. Like, everybody's an asshole. Some people like that. CGT for $1.99 Australian. Thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate it. Skyrim 96 for $50. I hope to God they don't introduce Ghost Rider. They absolutely massacre his character. Phase 4 makes Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider look like a masterpiece, and I love those two films. I love them too, unapologetically. I do.
I was about to say, like, I would go as far as saying, yeah, absolutely, those films are better than Phase 4. It's not even close. And yeah, just they're coming for them all. They are coming for them all. Everyone you love, they're coming one by one. Dude, there was a time where we were just speculating that Daredevil could end up in the MCU. We are well into it now. And we're on the fucking doorstep of Daredevil getting ruined.
And
right around the corner.
That's when you're going to see me really mad. Like,
a lot of people are going to get really mad. Yeah. Dude, and I don't know if you've noticed, the world is primed. I don't know if you've seen this discourse. It is turning. Like, Marvel is struggling right now to keep people, like, the Marvel simps, they're not doing a great job of holding back the tide.
Nope. They got their ass beat on Twitter the other day. Oh, by the way, real quick. InfoWars did a video on a bunch of us. I'll share it out in a little bit. I was on the road when Chrissy Mayer showed it. Thanks, Chrissy. I guess I'm on the thumb or something like that. I'll share it out later on Twitter. I got to listen to most of it while I had a connection, and I'll watch the rest, but that was pretty cool. Yeah, shit's changing, shit's shifting. And it's more normies recognizing that things are shit.
Dude, shit. MOM, Moon Knight, Love and Thunder, and She-Hulk. That is like a 1, 2, 3, 4 punch of just woof. That's bad.
And Obi-Wan. So if you want to bring in Star Wars and Obi-Wan, and then Rings of Power is going to be the finale. I think that's going to be I think we're at peak woke. I do. When something like They Them comes out, you're really getting close. When they're talking about like Black Robin Hoods, you're getting close to peak woke. Okay.
We're radioactive. What happens next? What's the next stage?
Blue-Eyed Scorpio for $19.99 says, I first found you and subbed for 2819, episode 3 of season 8 of Game of Thrones. I used to rewatch seasons every year, same here, but haven't watched a minute since the finale. I have not either.
That's the exact same for me. I used to rewatch it and I haven't since.
I can't even bring myself to give Dragon Show a chance. I admit I'm jaded. Be jaded. Yeah. I would wait until you hear a bunch of people you trust to tell you that this show is great before even wasting your time.
I'm sure we'll do it, but when we, review theoretically the finale this season, we'll talk about whether or not we would recommend the season more than likely. Who knows what our answer will be by then, but I just, like I said, I'm holding that until I see every episode of this season before I would give away a recommendation on this.
To Eric K, your amazing mod out in the chat. He is Southern Take. Thanks, brother. Yeah, Eric's awesome, man. I can't believe he's here. I just saw him. I think you still have some of my cookies. Somebody made his cookies at the meetup. They're fucking awesome. They were so good. My personal prediction for Turin's sword, Kid is gonna grab the grave as part of his stupid side plot. Also, I'm on the sober journey, almost 2 years without alcohol. Congratulations, Lost History. Hell yeah, that's awesome. And you are not far from being wrong, because I know what happens in the season, and very little of it is Tolkien. So there you go. Hi, Nina. How's it going?
Hello.
So hey, I'm gonna read some soups, but I want to like give you a check because I know I kept you up super duper late, and even Eldritch gods need to sleep. So I want to thank you for joining me, dude. I love you, man. And
I've always loved talking to you, man. And this will be a fun little thing that we're doing weekly, I assume, is it?
yes,
That's the plan.
yes, it is.
How many episodes of this thing are there? Is it 8?
8? No, is there 10?
Is it 10?
Chat, how many? Is there 10? I think there's 10. There's 8 of Rings of Power. Did I hear
9
right
for She-Hulk?
9
for She-Hulk?
9 for fuck. I thought there were 6. 9?
Isn't it? I thought it was 9. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 9.
Andor is all yours, buddy.
Andor is 12.
Oh no! No!
And that's weekly, right?
Yes.
Oh my god. Are we gonna be talking about Andor for 3 months? We'll be trying to, like, depending on what level of interest it is. Don't worry, I'll let you know all about it.
Let me know, dude, because like after Rings of Power and House of the Dragon and She-Hulk, I'm gonna take a week off.
We got so much work to do. I'm so, because as people may or may not know, it's like that video I'm making. It's in its final preparations now. It's pretty much ready to go. There's a couple more things I gotta do, but oh, I'm so fucking glad I'm done with it because I've been chopping away at all my time on everything else. So now I have enough time to watch a whole bunch of great TV shows that are releasing, of course.
Yay.
And literally, like, She-Hulk was like my reward. I was like, oh, great.
You might have to. I don't know how you could skip making a video on the She-Hulk series. Of course, you want to wait till it's done, but dude, if that
I would say, like, if I legit focused solely on making like breakdowns of Phase 4, I wouldn't be able to keep up. It would take, like, I just wouldn't be able to. It would be impossible. No, so much shit. The amount of time it would take for me to get through all those TV shows.
Because someday you're gonna watch the Eternals, dude. You're gonna watch
it. Think so?
Oh yeah. You're gonna get curious and you're gonna watch it.
The visuals, because obviously I edited a fuck ton of the video along with a couple of other people, but like I used a lot of Eternals visuals because I needed to reference like different things from it. And so I was just cycling through and I was like, oh my god, this movie looks so stupid. Like, with
dog shit. It is so bad. That and Shang-Chi are just dog shit movies. They're just terrible.
Well, I was, knowing that Phase 4 is almost at its end, and it's like, well, how did this start again? It's like Black Widow. It's like Black fucking Widow. I remember. God.
Just awful. A reminder. All the female empowerment in Marvel Phase 4, 60% of the movies are watched by men. Their female audience went down.
It went down.
It went down. It's like 5 or 6%, but it went down.
Hilarious.
Oh yeah, great job, dude. Yeah, so you got to you're working on something. Can you say like give us a realm of a time?
Oh, yeah, it's fuck, I can give you a lot more. I'll give you plenty of information. Why not? There's no reason not to tell people this at this point. So Friday 7 p.m. BST is probably when it will start. 24 hours earlier than that, I'll probably put it up on my channel so that people get a warning. This thing is nearly 6 hours long. It is fully edited. It is about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I've told people that at this point. It takes me nearly 3.5 hours to get through the story before I get to like breaking down everything. You can expect that when I hit like the Illuminati, the deaths of certain characters, like a lot of different events. God, it took a while to write this thing to try and come up with interesting ways to be angry, like because it's just so much. It's just non-stop stupid shit happening. Funnily enough, I had help from Meme Repository, Goga, Fringy, and Jay. All of them helped me edit this. They've all got like little sections. You might be able to spot their editing styles as we go through, but lion's share was obviously my stuff, though. I've been non-stop on this thing. Very fucking happy to get this thing out. And yeah, it's my take is, and I know this is pretty controversial, that it's possibly the worst movie I've ever seen. And I make the case in the video, and it takes me about 6 hours to get through. Absolute fucking disaster of a film. Hopefully you guys will enjoy the video. Like I said, Friday, and we talked about it on the last EFAP, but I'm launching plushies with it. Second round for EFAP. We're doing our
that's awesome.
2, I guess. Have I shown you my one yet? Gary?
I've seen it. Yes, yeah, it's
awesome. Okay, good. Oh yeah, I remember.
I too, like I did last time.
Yes, yeah. Well, this is the thing, man. I think it's kind of funny the spheres we belong to, because it's like we're all buying each other's plushies at this point. It's just like, it's cool. I have a big old collection. They could all hang out. It's fine with me.
Oh yeah, we got round 1 coming out some soonish. Az knows more than I do.
But yeah, other than possible hiccups with renderings, this thing is enormous. It should be good to go. So that what I'm trying to say is, if something horrible happens, it might not come out when expected, but that is the expected time. I'm hoping everything goes without a hitch.
People are already marking it in their calendar. They're ready to go. Another MauLer video. It's an event. It's awesome. I can't wait.
It's a yearly thing at this point.
I know how hard you've been working on it. I know you've dotted your I's and crossed your T's for sure. Maybe you'll have me convinced. I'm not quite convinced Doctor Strange Mom is the worst MCU film. It's close.
We're not quite the same on our metrics, right? We're similar, but like for me, I'm looking for how much sense is not made, basically. Like
it's Loki level makes no sense. Yeah, for sure.
But hey, there may be. Well, the thing is, you were in the stream, the 11-hour stream we did. I've basically got all of the arguments from there in the video. So
good.
So I think you've already heard all of my arguments, but maybe when you see them with the visuals, that you'll go, maybe. But hey, I mean, Black Widow was previously my pick for like the worst of the MCU. It's been dethroned as far as I'm concerned immediately. Like it didn't take very long.
No, it didn't. And then you'll see the Eternal someday.
someday.
Oh my God. Oh, it's so bad. You're like, this woman won an Academy Award. The director, this movie won a fucking Oscar. Brother, take care of yourself. I'll see you Tuesday. I'll be ready for
absolutely, man. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Right,
I hope to say on that stream with you that everything's ready, and I'm having a day off talking to you guys. That'd be nice. Hopefully it is. I don't know.
I believe in you. I believe you.
Alrighty. Yeah. Well, I'll catch you around. Thanks for having me on. Of course. Love these
Thanks
old
for coming on.
And chat. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you. I guess. Real BBC. Yeah, that makes sense. That's the next thing. Alrighty. Toodle pip. Cheerio.
Toodle pip. The great MauLer. Everyone. What a champ coming on. It's like 5 a.m. over there. So. Thanks, buddy. Like I said, we were supposed to be here like an hour ago, but my wife, I was going to do a little work. So I was sitting bitch in the car, and like we were in Scottsdale, and just the sky opened up. It was cool. And I'm glad I was in my 4x4, but like the water was like this deep on the road. It was like a foot deep. It was like quick. It was crazy. I'll wait for Lofty to recommend it. He has correct and good jokes. Sarcasm. Keep up the great work, both of you, and all the Nerdrotic folks, says AMW Fishing. I appreciate it. And Zero Smoke says Nerdrotic and MauLer duo streams are A-okay with me. They are with me too. I love talking to my man MauLer, and I'm glad you're enjoying it. Hi, Jane Theory was in the chat. What's up, Jane Theory? She's been doing some great live streams with Az. Hey, Jane Theory, you're on InfoWars. How weird is that? Jane Theory. She's the black female representation of white supremacy. Did you know that? Jane Theory. Go subscribe to Jane. Oh, subscribe to MauLer, but most of you are already. Give Jane a check her out. I mean, not like that. I mean, her content. Get your minds out of the gutter. I thank you, 909. I appreciate that. So, yeah, I was really down. I was expecting this to be like complete woke shit. I'll tell you that. And it didn't disappoint in a couple of scenes. It was pretty heavy-handed, and they put it like right up in the beginning. But once House of the Dragon gets going, and quite frankly, you focus on Matt Smith and Daemon Targaryen, he is what's going to hold the show together. The girls aren't spectacular as actresses. They're not terrible, but I mean, neither was Amelia Clark. I always want to call her Emily Clark, but Amelia Clark. She wasn't like spectacular either. I I mean, what drew us in with Game of Thrones was the character actors, right? Was Littlefinger and Varys. That's what drew me in, right? And Ned Stark. But like we started getting more interesting. Of course, Tyrion was the most interesting character. So we'll see. We'll see. There's not a ton of levity in this. So that's what Tyrion provided in Game of Thrones. So here's what Game of Thrones had, what House of the Dragon is missing. Ice zombies. The North. The Wall. Tyrion Lannister. Tywin Lannister. The Lannisters. You know, they're really important. You don't have a Lannister versus the Starks. This is Targaryen versus Targaryen. There isn't some other houses mixed in. Allegiances change. So I guess it's how much they hook you into the political intrigue and if you give a shit. Now, those of you like, I think A Song of Ice and Fire kind of had its time. I think it subverted some things, but interestingly, back when it was interesting 20 years ago, 10 years ago, I think everything's been flipped on its head and subverted so much. It's fucking boring now. And to actually come out with like a proper fantasy story would be interesting. Like when I was talking about if somebody remade Alien, if you made it with a male lead, that would actually be subverting expectations. If you remade Alien with a male lead, that's how far we've gone. So I mean, this show had a bunch against it. That's not the show's fault. That's not the showrunner's fault. But their paychecks are good. So I'm not going to feel sorry for people making pretend. They definitely look like they wanted to win some of you back. But at the end, when they talk about Daenerys the Dreamer and they mention the White Walkers that aren't going to show up, that I was like, that's stupid. That was just stupid. I was like, oh, you almost landed. You almost stuck the landing, but you didn't. You didn't. I can't give a grade to the show because it's like a prologue. It's like watching a prologue, a very pretty prologue, a well-made prologue, a well-directed. I mean, the costuming, those people need to be applauded. The sets were pretty good, except for the throne room. Looks terrible. Looks awful. They actually made the Iron Throne look worse. But yeah, again, the armor and the costumes, they look pretty freaking good. So yeah, I guess well done on that. But yeah, we're gonna cover it just because that's what I do. And I like fantasy. I do. I want there to be a good show. I would have preferred there be a properly made, like respectful Lord of the Rings show. I think people are hungry for that. Lord of the Rings is like, and not because of Rings of Power, it's because of the 20-year rule, by the way. It's popular again. Like I went to a comic store, there was Lord of the Rings shit everywhere now. So it's reached its like when Star Wars reached its 20th anniversary, and they did those re-releases, that like solidified it as a classic. Now we all knew that, but like you hit the 20-year rule with trends, and Lord of the Rings is a classic, and I think it's better than Star Wars. So, but I mean, I've always said that. So I think Raiders of the Lost Ark is better than Star Wars. So that's me. But and I grew up a Star Wars fan. I was a member of the fan club, got my little Bantha tracks, had all the figures, fucking loved it. I wouldn't have, don't make me choose between Raiders and Star Wars, but I just think Raiders of the Lost Ark is a better movie than the first Star Wars movie. But like Lord of the Rings is just better. They stuck the landing. There's no Ewoks, so there. I mean, John Williams is a better composer. I'll than Howard Shore. I'll give you that. But what's up, Jane? Yes, I said it. Raiders of the Lost Ark is a better movie than Star Wars. To me, as somebody who watched them both in the theater as a kid, Raiders of the Lost Ark is fucking rad. Love that movie. I choose Jaws. You can choose Jaws. Jaws is great. Nomad for 49. Now I'm gonna read all the super chats. If it lags up, just let me know, okay? Because if I open up another window, because I'm on hotel internet, when this live stream is over, it will be uploaded on Nerdrotic Live. It will be archived there because YouTube, after years of telling us to live stream, still like once in a while, it's super inconsistent. I actually just had an urge to rewatch MauLer's streams about Game of Thrones today and had no idea this was coming out. Oh, Nomad, that's awesome. Thanks for the $49.99. And his streams on Game of Thrones are fantastic. His videos are him and Drinkers videos are the best. The best. I was still getting my feet wet making videos back then 3 years ago. So mine are okay. But actually, I think my long night video was the first time. I didn't put a clip in, but it's the first time I'm going to try to be funny. And it worked kind of, but because I felt like that's the best way to like try to, mock it, be sarcastic. Plus, I mean, I'm just a sarcastic person. So I guess we're not getting any more Star Trek movies anytime soon. More adventure. Why? Somebody pinged in and told me Kurtzman's done again. And, I've heard it before. I don't know if I've been out of the loop. So did they cancel Star Trek 4? I don't know what happened. I don't see anything, but you guys can let me know in the chat. Lots of Picard stuff. Kate Mulgrew vows not to violate Star Trek rules when visiting Indiana. Okay, well, who gives a shit? Star Trek could revisit Deep Space Nine in 4 spinoffs. What? That's not Alex Kurtzman reconfirms 2 new Star Trek series are in development. Yeah, he's there for good. Yeah, Star Trek's dead. Star Trek's fucking dead. I don't even care about it anymore. I'll watch Picard season 3 and I owe you guys a review. And then I'm done. I watched Strange New Worlds. Can't remember a single fucking episode. Don't care. Orville was better. Give me just a moment. I got to open up a window, which could make me lag. Thanks again. MauLer was absolute champ. So thanks for joining me, dude. Hey, oh my God, it feels like, since Friday Night Tights, I haven't live streamed with you guys like a week. It's nice. I'm a little hungry. I've got my wife brought back, what's it say? Paul Martin's American Grill. I can't wait to dig into that. Starving. Mrs. Nerdrotic is what? There we go. That's good. So we have a donation from Matthew Hammond for $5 who says, who is making money off these movies and series? If any other industry, if it was any other industry, you would think some executive is embezzling money because of the drop off in quality. But the movies and series cost just as much to make, if not more. Kind of look at what's going on right now, Matthew, as a .com bubble, a big tech bubble that just burst, by the way. We are past the bursting point. So we are already past the bursting point where there was a bunch of investor money getting into these streaming services, which was going to be the future of Hollywood. And they completely ignored what happened to all the other industries that went digital. How's the music industry doing right now? People are still getting rich, but is it culturally as important as it was even 10 years ago? No. We saw this happening for a long time, but when the Rolling Stones was the biggest grossing act, I think it was 10 years ago, a band that at the time had been around for decades, that's not good. When I was young, back when they just invented the wheel and fire, Like there was 10 bands headlining stadium tours with new albums, not like some fucking recycled old 60s hippie, maybe a couple, but like, no, there was like bands like Depeche Mode could sell out the LA Coliseum. They had a free concert there too, but they could sell out the LA Coliseum. We can do that anymore. So things come and go. They spread things too far. This should have been a TV renaissance. What we ended up having was a TV renaissance about 5 or 6 years ago, and it ended up being killed by streaming, which became producer driven. And once all that big money came in, for those people who don't think like ESG exists, go to the Disney website and look up their ESG page or the Amazon ESG page. It exists. So, and yeah, like even people who were firmly on that side are starting to come over now. I guess we weren't bigots after all, were we? Some people are always going to think that. Don't really care. Don't really give a fuck. I would like there to be balance in our culture. I'd like us to get our culture back. I don't know if that's possible. I don't think we can get Doctor Who back or Star Wars or Star Trek, but I do think we can get something new. And maybe one of you out there is going to be the next Eric July, the next fucking Spielberg. Who knows? And maybe you can just make this shit on your own, you know? I think people should be making shit on their own. I think if there's a studio with a half a fucking brain in Hollywood, you should Amazon, unsolicited advice. Fire Lindsay Weber right now. Like, fire her. Dump her ass on the side of the street. She is terrible for your show. She called the fans racist. The bitch is going to bury your $1 billion show. Get rid of her. I'm not even, the showrunners are just figureheads. I mean, they probably should go too. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing is a big disaster that we see wholesale changes. But I was told, I'll just say this ambiguously, that the show didn't start out woke. That's not how it started out, but that's how it is now. And it's undeniable. Unless Jesus Christ himself comes down from on high and tells me that I should watch this show, House of the Dragon, I am not spending a second on Women Dragon. Gary and MauLer, I respect your opinions on TV, movies, but only God himself can convince me at this point. And hey, I'm not trying to convince you. I'm not there. I just watched it and I went, okay, this is like kind of the most boring thing to review. When you watch something that's it's pretty good. It's average, great potential to get woke. But it didn't hook me in like Game of Thrones, or Westworld's first episode, or Ash versus Evil Dead's first episode, which is fuck. Watch Ash versus Evil Dead if you haven't. It's a great show. I think Nina's watching it now. Silicon Valley, the first 3-4 seasons, freaking great. Like Buffy had a shitty first season, but I liked it. But yeah, there's so many other first episodes that have hooked me way more than this. This is like completely riding off of just name recognition. I think Matt Smith's casting helps too. The problem is it's not going to all be about Matt Smith. Zorro the Gay Blade was in 1981, says Winston Alexander for $10. Yes, it is. God, they would play that one straight if it came out today. Zorro the Gay Blade, play it straight. Get it? All right, I gotta switch windows here. I gotta switch windows. Oh, my poor wife. My poor wife. She was great this week. She kicked ass. Yeah, we did a big meetup at the Millennium Fandom Bar, a Friday Night Tights meetup. Alex Stein showed up. Chris Gore showed up. Jeremy was there. Ryan Kennel. Ryan is amazing. Ryan's amazing. Steph from My Nerdy Home. Everybody did a great job. I had tons of fun. I didn't gamble a penny. I don't drink. And I managed to have like the best time in Vegas. Not really sure how. I went to Meow Wolf. That was pretty cool. All right. Let's get to you guys. I busted my ass to get here so I can do this review. I'm probably going to watch it again, but it's probably to make a video. And I don't know if I'm going to make a video on this. Probably will. I don't know if I'm going to do on every show. I don't know what the video would do, though. I'd have to like find. I got to think about it because I got a Rings of Power video to make. When they came out on Attack Fans, I know I'm going to be super late on it, but I had a laptop with me, like this gaming laptop that I recorded my She-Hulk video on in a hotel room, and then gave my laptop to Garrett to edit. So, like the fact that he was able to do that edit on a fucking laptop. Thank you, dude. You're awesome. You did a great job. Eric K for $2 says, Mrs. Nerdrotic is the rock we all rely on. Amazing lady. She really is. She really is. I mean, the saint to put up with me. Woo. MauLer, when finishing his video, I can rest and look out on a grateful universe. Oh, maybe after the MCU is done. Yeah, it's been crazy. Like how many people She-Hulk pissed off. So I'm going to check in the chat here. What I'm not going to do a poll. Just did you like House of the Dragon? Did you not like it, or was it meh? I guess you could say don't watch too. Didn't watch. And it's a gaming laptop because it was the only one I could get quickly. That's all. It's Cleveland. It's called a Predator. It's a Predator. I don't know. I needed a laptop like quick, right? And this I could get this one like next day. I bought it like a year ago, and it's just my travel one. It's like what the fuck do I need a gaming laptop for? I don't fucking know. All right. For $4.99. So I guess we're getting more we're not getting any Star Trek movies anytime soon. Says more adventure. That's a good thing. As long as Kurtzman's around, Star Trek ain't coming back. Like when he's done, that franchise is toast. Absolute toast. It'll be decades before people can bring it back. It'll live on in comics and novels, but yeah, Paramount is like they made Top Gun, and that's great. They're fucking retarded. Thank you, Party Almiski for $4.99. Grant Anderson for $10. I love the books, A Song of Ice and Fire. I hated the way Game of Thrones went down, but the world George R. R. Martin built still has good stories to tell. I didn't hate the premiere. I'm weirdly optimistic. It's okay to be optimistic as you want. I am not here to piss on your personal optimism. I am not going to be optimistic. But, like I cover pop culture, so it was just nice not to be beaten over the head. Hey, Jane, you're in the chat. What'd you think of the show? What'd you think? If you're still there, what'd you think of the show, Jane? I will check the chat in just a second. I'm very curious to hear what you think. I'd ask you on, but I'm gonna wrap up after the super chats. But we'll bring you on in the future. Jane Theory knows her shit. Like she's gone through the trials and tribulations of reading the fucking books and being a nerd her entire life and knowing what the fuck she talks about. It's kind of it's nice. Nicholas Horton, good morning, Gary, and happy birthday. Thank you. Yeah, I just had a birthday. I'm at the age where can we just not make a big deal out of it? It's fine. I did exactly what I wanted for my birthday. I hung out with some really fucking cool people. I hung out with my friends. That's all I want. I'd rather do stuff. It's Sista. You are a nerd for both genders. LOL, says Southern Take. Sista. Just hit myself in the face with the mic. That was awesome. By the way, Garrett got these mics. So this is a good mic and it's not super expensive. So if you guys, I don't know, it's called LCT Pro. It's like $150. And I guess Crowder used these. So Garrett recommended them. Knox Gear. I like it. You can get this and the arm for like $200. And this is an XLR mic. It's cardioed. It's good. It's good. It worked in the hotel room and it sounded decent. So if you don't want to spend $400 on a Shure mic, get one of these. If you want to know, like, I'll just email me at gary@nerdrotic.com. These are great mics, dude. Great show, says 909. AMW Fishing for $10. I read that one. A Lost History. I read that one. Southern Take for Eric K. I read that one, but I'll say Eric K is amazing. I love him. Darth Bender sends a super sticker for $5 Australian. Hail. NG1T negative. Sorry, for $2. Says you're cool. Thanks for the thumbs up. I read that one. Bloyd Scorpio. I read that one. Later seasons of Game of Thrones lost character complexity that the books have. Daemon seems interesting. Hopefully the ladies will have some flaws as well. Well, they do in the story. We'll see if they do in the show because, yeah, they both turn into a bunch of see you next Tuesdays, to be honest with you. Yeah, somebody disagreed. I forgot who disagreed with me. But I got to see if Jane got back to me. Hang on, is Jane in there? I don't see Jane. I wanted to see what she thought of the show. Oh, there it is. Here it is right there. I gave it an 8 out of 10. The violence was a bit over the top. I was totally fine with that. Cutting some balls off is that any worse than the Mountain and the Viper? That was like, that even got me, right? I'm kind of squeamish, but I don't know. I don't like seeing compound fractures, right? But like decapitations and stuff don't bother me. But when he got his head squeezed like a zit, Melissa and I were supposed to go on a date change. We canceled our date. We were sick. We're like, I don't even want to fucking go out now. But I digress. I give it an 8 out of 10. The violence was a bit over the top, but I like the political gamesmanship, Daemon's complexity as a character, and the father-daughter relationship. The father-daughter relationship was good. It was good. It was, especially at the end, if he rallied when he apologized, when he's like, listen, I know, that's just the way the system was set up. So she understood. And yeah, it's, but I think Daemon's complexity, like, kind of overshadowed everything. It was Daemon's show. It was fucking Daemon's show. This is now Daemon's show. And they have to lift up all the other characters or it's just going to be the Matt Smith show. But Jane knows the source material. Maybe I'll be talking to Jane in the future about some other stuff too. Got to talk to her about it. Got to make sure it's okay. Can't just invite her to things thinking she's like going to drop everything for me because she ain't. Hey, Gary, would you like me to send you a sample chapter of Wharton Sky's Siege from the Shadows? If so, where would you like me to send it? The Grizzly for $5. Send it to Gary@nerdrotic.com. If you just want to send an email. The Grizzly. Thanks. Yeah. Hell yeah. early next year, I might be working on, it's not my own personal creative endeavor. It's getting you creative products that you might not be able to see normally. I don't know if I can do it. I'm going to try. That's all. More on that later. And yes, I'm a moron. Please review or have you heard of the animation of the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes? In my opinion, is the equivalent of DC animated universe. In my opinion, JFC, it's probably one of the finest things animated Marvel has done, like right up there with the X-Men cartoon. And it was canceled when Disney fucking bought Marvel. The same with the Spectacular Spider-Man. I wasn't super crazy about the animation, but the stories were great. And my kid fucking loved it. Still loves it. But yeah, Earth's Mightiest Heroes was spectacular, fucking amazing. And then they came out, the Avengers on the Disney D23. It was shit. I hated it. JL for 1,000 yen or Japanese pesos. Most 10-point reviews for She-Hulk on IMDb are 3-day-old accounts, while the reviews trashing the series are mainly established accounts. Proof IMDb letting Disney SJWs manipulate the results? That's a question mark. Yes, they are. So here's my theory. You know how Disney, Lucasfilm in particular, but Disney and Marvel have been accusing all of us of either being bots or creating bots. Why would any of us spend money? I can tell you right now, I don't give a fuck about anything enough to call India. I don't know how you do it. And like go to the bot store and get a fucking bunch of bots to downvote a movie. I'll make a fucking video and say my piece and walk away. But you know who would have a vested interest to call a company that might be able to create some or hire somebody to create some bots? Disney. These giant companies have motive. Have the fucking motive to do that. And then they blame us. You know what? Accuse your enemy. Accuse your opponent of what you're doing. So at first, didn't really think about it very much. Then I started becoming skeptical. Now I believe in my heart of hearts that there are people at Disney, whether they're doing it on their own or they're doing it under orders, that I do not know. I purely speculate that they create bots on Twitter and for Rotten Tomatoes to pump up their shit products. Because it just doesn't make sense how Rings of Power can come out and just get pulverized. And all of a sudden, like She-Hulk has some of the worst ratios. I think it's worse than Eternals, where there was never a sign of that before. Jeremy brings it up all the time. Captain Marvel, like according to YouTube, was a really popular film. Really, really popular film, even though there's empty movie theaters. So I don't know. But I think it's far more likely that a corporation would fudge around with some shit to make their stuff look more popular. Why not? Is there a law against it? No. Would they be embarrassed if they got caught? Sure. Are they going to ever get caught? Not with an Access Media that never calls them out. I will say about the House of the Dragon, I will say that there is a clear effort in this show to make up for Game of Thrones Season 8. It ain't enough. That's up to you. But there's a clear effort. But the other alternative hurdle they have to get over is Ryan Condell going out there and saying shit like too many white people. If anybody from out there from Hollywood is watching right now, shut the fuck up. Try to shut the fuck up. You know those lawyers who come out and go, when you get arrested, shut the fuck up? Hollywood, shut the fuck up. Just when you do an interview, we tried to get as close to the source material as possible. We really want to do right by the fans. We have great responsibility to Warner Brothers, and yeah, I'm just doing the best I can, and I hope you all like it. And if you don't, just know that I did my best, and I'm going to try to win you over. That's all you need to say in every fucking interview. If some D-bag access media from, comedrunk.com asks you a question, is there enough representation in their story? Just go, well, you'll have to decide that for yourself when you see the story. I'm going to let the story speak for itself. I really don't want to get into the behind the scenes about actors. Each actor was chosen because they were the best actor for the role, which nobody fucking believes anymore, which must feel horrible. Sure. Great. More black people are getting jobs. Is it just to make a bunch of woke white producers look good and then they'll be disposed of once that time is over, which it kind of is, after burning through it and not actually believing what you do, right? And investing in that. It's just surface level bullshit. Yeah. They don't listen. They don't listen to fans. Why would you listen to fans? What the fuck do we know? Maximus Timius for $5. How does it feel to have lived long enough to see all of your favorite franchises go down in flames? Rich Evans. Feels great. Hey, Gary. Did you read my super chats, please? Justin Johnson. That's the first one I'm seeing, but maybe it's going backwards. I'll read them right now, Justin. Hang on, buddy. Hang on. Okay, I got him. Bud. 2499 super chats. Thank you very much. Are you all gonna hate on it no matter what because of the other stuff? Because the pilot seemed pretty good. Hope you all give it a chance at least. I think we've done that. I don't hate it. I do not hate it. No. I think it's pretty fucking clear this is going to be better than Rings of Power. I think it's pretty clear. And like technical wise, it was phenomenal. I mean, there was a couple of CG scenes that looked pretty CG, but this is TV, and they didn't spend $1 billion. I mean, they spent $30 million, but it looked better. Oh, well, dude, it looked better in a Disney Star Wars show, looked better in a Disney Marvel show, looked better than Rings of Power, the trailers. Yeah, it looked really good. The tourney scene was pretty great. But it moved really slow for me in between. Like there's a lot of like slow panning. Somebody was really in love with his shots. It's like, I think you could have taken 5 minutes out of slow panning. But dude, Matt Smith eats scenery. Eats fucking scenery. So there's that. Justin Johnson for $4.99. I know you're mad about the books and the ending of Game of Thrones, but I'm hopeful to see what becomes because I do miss good Game of Thrones. We all do. But this can never be that. So once you get over like, hey, this is pretty good and I miss Game of Thrones, are you gonna see this is the question I have. Are you gonna stick with it? Because there's a lot of pretty good stuff that people don't stick with and it gets canceled. I'll give you an example. Counterpart with J.K. Simmons. First season, phenomenal. Chef's kiss, 10 out of 10. Second season, canceled. Because it just didn't bring enough people in. And that second season was just like, it was good. But I kind of forgot I was watching it. And I meant to catch up on it later. And like, that's what I think is going to happen to this. Unless you put Matt Smith in every scene. And maybe this will make people appreciate Matt Smith's 11th Doctor a little bit more. Because it's great. And he's young. Guy's going to be a star a long time. Watching non-woke WWE. Wasn't that when it was the WWF? Gibraldi for $4.99. But does the show have Tywin Lannister? We need an apex homosexual. We need our apex homosexual. Tywin wasn't gay. He banged hookers. I don't know, Jane. Otto Hightower is supposed to be the Tywin Lannister, but he's not Tywin Lannister. I can never pronounce the actor's name. Rafe Fiennes or whatever his fucking name is. Some Gaelic shit. He was just. I watched a rom-com yesterday. It was by accident. My wife was watching it on her computer, and I was too tired to fucking move, so I just sat there and watched it. It was a Peter Bogdanovich rom-com from 2016. She's funny that way, but he was in it. Whatever his fucking name is. The guy played Lizard, right? He's good. He's good. Patty Constantine, good. Matt Smith, really good. Was there a phenomenal female actor in this? I'd say Rainey's, like the couple of scenes she had. I definitely, the idea you get is she got passed over, but she might not have been the best queen in the world either. I don't hate your phone. Bird dog, I don't hate your phone. I hate my phone. Miss Overbite. Yeah, there was no like oh God, what's her name? Oh. Emma. No, that's not. No. That's Damon's. Oh, it's Aaron. She's an Aaron. Well, Viserys' wife. She was played very well, but there was no like real standout. Cinema Gulp for $10. Never saw Game of Thrones. Not going to watch House of the Dragon, but love you guys. Oh, that's awesome. Total Inspiration, been a YouTube channel for 7 years, have less than 500 subs, but we are still grinding. Would love a shout out. Go check out Cinema Gulp for $10. Thank you for the $10. Check out Cinema Gulp. Grinding for 7 years. Well, I started my channel in 2014, and it was like very, very late 2018. I got to 5,000 subs, and then it shot up with Doctor Who. But it was like 4 years of nothing. But I took it very seriously because I needed a hobby, so I wouldn't go insane. That's it. Trucker Mark, it was great meeting you, dude. Thanks for the $5. What's up, Gary? Once again, very cool to meet you and your wife and some of the guys. It was great meeting you in Vegas, dude. So thank you. And hope to see you again in Orlando. Jay Coke for $4.99. Honestly, I thought it was going to be worse than it was. Wasn't terrible. Many characters being portrayed felt little bland. Yeah, that's bland. That's a good word. That's a good word. Bland. Especially strong. Little disappointed with that character because he's huge in the books. He's probably I think he's probably played by an older character later. That might be better. But that's going to confuse people, I think. Like, I didn't catch everything. I had to watch it on a laptop after, surviving Noah's flood outside. I got some video of us driving down the street in Scottsdale. I'll post it on Twitter. Catzilla for $4.99. Thank you for the super sticker. Channel Surf for $9.99. We liked it. I think it was a good start. Did you find your Brandon stickers, Gary? I did. Channel Surf. I did. I have one in my glove box of my car that I'm probably just going to put on my car. I'll have it pointed next to like a dent or something. I don't have any dents in my car though. I'm too anal to have dents in my car. Thanks, Channel Surf, for the Brandon stickers. Hail. Do you think they're going to follow the lore that was written down already about the Dance of the Dragons, or are they going to go off on their own thing? Matt, Fascine for 10 Canadian pesos. Maybe there's a little Fascine, little French Canadian there. I think they're going to go off on their own at the end. At the end, I think they're going to have to, because the end, there is no end. I mean, some people are dispatched. We'll just say that. But then it just kind of goes on and on. And yeah. And like, where are you going to end this? I think 3 seasons is smart. I think that's actually good. Sebastian Howard for $5. Did either of you see last night in Soho? Smith was great in that too. Yep. He was great. I've seen him in almost everything he's been in. GRN Green Lantern 328 for $4.99. Shit, Gary, I would have met you for a carne asada burrito if I had known you were in Snobsdale. I know where the good ones are here. Love you guys, man. Email me. I'll have breakfast burrito tomorrow morning. Yeah, it's just a quick stop. We're the only reason was stopped was to do this live stream. So we're driving 12 hours tomorrow, and I plan to be home in time to knock out a video and then go on Real BBC, because I miss talking to my pals. Gary Longman, thanks for joining us tonight. As my wife, I read that one. Having a baby, a little EFAP baby, hand shot last for $4.99. Should I have read A Song of Ice and Fire books? No, they're not going to finish. No. God, I was telling everybody to read those books, and I have to publicly apologize again because George will not finish the books. By the way, quick reminder, since it's still 10:48 here, it's been 4,058 days since the Dance of Dragons was released on July 12th, 2011. Astro Walker for $5 just tuned in. One question about House of the Dragon. Is it woke or woke adjacent? I would call it intersectional adjacent right now. Or woke adjacent. If you want to use woke for intersectional feminism, it's easier to say. I think woke covers it. Death My Snoo for $4.99. Gary, any coffee cups, water bottles, live rounds left on the set? Not that I noticed, but I didn't watch it on my big screen. The end of the episode reminds me how Hobbit kept on teasing the Lord of the Rings like jingling keys. Yeah, that's a great point. Cool VV. It's cool V. Jangling keys saying, look, it's the thing you remember. I also want to thank you for your fantastic work. Hail to the fellowship. Thank you. I appreciate it. And thanks for supporting me, everyone. That is another great point by the very smart audience. That felt very hobbitish. Koger for 100 Swedish krona. What did you guys think about Damon's armor? I think it looked fake as fuck. I didn't. The helmet did, but I like the armor itself. And it is very dumb to have his face guard an attorney. Also, the melee was dumb. Some of them just start fighting randomly. Yeah, but I mean, like, yeah, I don't ever remember George writing like people breaking into like just bashing people's fucking heads in at a melee. But that does happen. It's a melee. That part didn't bother me. Damon's, I think his helmet like would look good on a shelf, but it doesn't like it looked like it was on his head. It always looked like he didn't have his helmet fully on his head. Did you ever I got that feeling like it felt crooked or something. Maybe his face is no. Matt Smith's face is not crooked. It is. He's got like the flattest jaw ever. The Grizzly for $10. Gonna go out on a limb and say Warhammer is probably the worst universe to live in. I what little I know, I agree. Look up the stuff the Imperium does. I just don't think Westerns has anything on Warhammer. Well, except if you actually lived in a Western, the Grizzly. If you lived in the 1800s, that was fucking horrible. The fact that we're here is a miracle. A fucking miracle. Cameron Hill, she can't be the heir. She's a woman, gasp. Cutting off the dude's junk. This show is treading on thin ice. How much is pushing the particular bad theme? Yeah. The thing is, if they are cutting off dudes' dicks and arms and shit, what are they going to do to the women? Nothing. I mean, we are talking about, I mean, this is like fake. This is not real. So should be able to do stuff. I'm surprised we saw boob. Honestly. I'm surprised we saw boob. But we did. It was not perfect. Yeah, I can't even give it a grade. The only thing I walk away with is there was a lot of blandness, and Matt Smith absolutely ruled in it. The music was good. Rami Dewaldi, who does the music for Westworld and Game of Thrones, guy's fucking great. Okay, did the music for Iron Man 1. Great composer. Don't have a bad thing to say about that guy. You want to hear a great soundtrack? Fucking Westworld Season 1 soundtrack. Woo! That is good. That is a good soundtrack. And all the Game of Thrones soundtracks, even for the shitty seasons, are good. Trogdor the Burninator. Some of chat agrees. Wish he'd jump the shark and go full on memes. Okay. Hey, I got to meet some of the Legion of Memers. That was cool. Speaking Moistly, I read that one. The Night King, Editor MG. All right. I'm going to try to get out of here. I'm going to hit refresh. My God, you see that Rings of Power picture that Disparu put up? Holy shit. Slim Lady. Chicka Slim Lady. That was it's bloody awful. G'day. Companies haven't caught on to the Twitter likes doesn't transfer over to money. I know, right? It doesn't transfer over to fucking YouTube. The real fans are the ones that will buy all the merch. If your merch isn't selling them, your show isn't good. Marty, you are correct. Okay. So what does Disney have to sell right now? Old school merch of Star Wars. What does Paramount have to sell right now? Fucking Kirk, Picard. Well, I can't even stand looking at him right now. You're right. You're absolutely right. Always enjoy your live shows. It sucks seeing our favorite shows, movies, and comics being ruined. Watching anything DC and Marvel just now gives me a headache. The multiverse of mid was so bad, says Elian Estrada for $10. Yes, it was, buddy. It was very bad. And MauLer will show you how in 5.5 short hours, maybe 6 on Friday. I can't wait to see it. The Grizzly for $5. Hey, Gary. Would you like me to send you a sample chapter? Or I read this one already. Toxic Man Flu. It was great meeting you, dude. Hail, Gary. Great to meet you this week. Safe travels home. Thank you. And you as well. Well, you're not that far, right? So Tyler Malden for $5. Hail, I honestly more excited for Alt Shift X's videos on the series. Gary is right. This was George's worst book of the franchise. Yeah, it was. It absolutely is. If you want to read a history book, read The World of Ice and Fire. I mean, it's got this in it. This is still in it, but it's got all the other houses and talks about Valeria and Ashai and all kinds of crazy stuff. It's pretty cool. I like it. Oh, by the way, the last audiobook with the late great Roy Dotrice on it as well. I think an earlier super chat of mine might have been missed as well. Cameron, I will check it. Rusty Redwine, what's up for $5? Says Rings of Power is the best advertisement this show could have. Even asked for just being meh. You're right. You're absolutely right. I think the Rings of Power sucking so much will overshadow any meh that goes on with this, and it'll be a net win for HBO. All All right, Cameron, I'm checking right now. Okay. Oh, I read it. Okay. I did read it. I read it earlier, if you missed it by any chance. That one guy, House of the Dragons and Brother. Oh, Brother Uncles and Brother Uncles. I almost said Brother Fucker. Brother Fucker, because they do say that in Game of Thrones. Brother Uncles. Just got up, just back from my semi after my 34 off, and I find this live. Woohoo! Time to hammer down. You stay safe. Stay the safe side of 19. 19 is the highway band of the CB. I will, Captain Caboose, and keep on trucking. Wait, I got a noise for you. Dude. Back when the Canadian truckers were around. Mitch Lozada, did you catch the rather based comment from the Queen? Something on the lines of the baby doesn't have a peepee, it won't suddenly get one. The baby doesn't have a dick, it won't suddenly get one. Yeah, I guess you could look at that as based. I think they meant that to be feminist, but wow, this is how you paint yourself into a woke corner. Yeah. I thought she said something like taxation is theft. We need to give the people of King's Landing property rights. I mean, that's what would make me excited. Yeah, I don't like feudalism. Fuck feudalism. I'm very anti-state or king or queen. Fuck them all. Okay, we're going to go to another window. If I missed one, it'll be on. We're going to try something different with the square up tomorrow because I recorded a square up last week before I left and my microphone wasn't on. Talked to myself for 3 hours. 500,000 subs. Yeah. I'm an idiot. Where was I? It is 11. I was only getting, well, it's almost 2 hours. 3 hours. So it's only supposed to go 2. It's definitely gonna have to get it re-uploaded now. Cami Anime. What's up, man? Also read the wait, is there multiples here? Okay, hang on. There's K-Biz. Holy shit, K-Biz. There's K-Biz from the okay, yeah, that's from Friday Night Tights. Sith Cake. I read that one. Matthew Hammond, I read that one. Meth Bear for $10 in recognition of your 8 years suffering without meth. I offer you Bear Strength Meth. 1 point and you'll be awake and won't be able to finish for a month. See the future. Taste the past. Keep smiling the syrup. I will. Thanks, Meth Bear. Oh, yeah. Meth ain't fun. Bruce Banner, who survived being physically and mentally abused by his father and witnessed his father beating his mother to death, tried to commit suicide multiple. And listen to She-Hulk talk about how it's worse being a woman. Also, read the Vineland Saga manga whenever you watch the anime because the anime is beautifully animated and the manga is beautiful. Drawn, it's beautifully drawn. Also, that's the one of the best opening anime songs there is. Watch it, dub or sub, you'll like them both. And lastly, happy birthday. Thanks, Cami Anime S. You are a stud, dude. You're awesome. It was great meeting you at Anime Matsuri, by the way. And I'm super glad you made it home safe. I was a little worried about you, buddy. You said you were going to be burning the midnight oil driving back, and I really, yeah, just glad you're okay. So, hey, thanks for everyone. I'm gonna wrap it up right now. There is the Fat Man 69 feud. I'm burnt out on fantasy shows. I'll watch this show probably after the first season is done. It's fantasy overload for me at this point. Really, I don't feel like there's ever enough. I just like fantasy though. I mean, some people, it's not everybody's cup of tea. You know what I'm saying? I get it. So I'll see you guys live on Nerdrotic Live sometime tomorrow, doing a super chat square up from the road. Melissa will be reading the questions and I'll be answering them while I'm driving. And I mean, shit, we got 12 hours to kill. Let's do it. Look for this to be uploaded on Nerdrotic Live. If you haven't subscribed over there, please do. Also, if you haven't, Nerdrotic Daily is an alternate channel of mine that I run with the great Perry Chan. And it is approaching 100,000 subs. And Perry's done some great work over there. We really appreciate him. We appreciate Quarter Black Garrett, who edited the She-Hulk video while he was in Vegas, probably hungover because after the meetup, he had to be literally poured into a car by Eric K. If it wasn't for Eric K, I don't think Quarter Black would have gotten home. X-Ray Girl, I hope you feel better. She got sick. In Vegas, so I hope my producer's feeling better. She feels super sad, but we did get to all meet. I went to a comic shop with Perry Chan. It was a freaking memorable, great weekend. Meeting you guys, meeting so many of you. The fellowship is strong. The fellowship is fandom. That's all we are, and it's all mixes of people who are just individuals who might identify differently or have one little different aspect. It doesn't matter because what brought us together was, debating a show like this kind of normally for the most part. Like that's how fans debate stuff, and not being divided by the corporate, political, ideological, basic bitch, normie from Hollywood assholes who have come in and completely fucked up our fandoms. Remember, the same people who hated us and still hate us or look down on us or mock us. And I don't fuck good. Mock me. Put me in the corner. Make this niche again. Please. Fuck off, Hollywood. Go fuck off and make your basic bitch CSI shows. I don't care. Find something else. I don't care. Go make another Sopranos. Just go away. Just fucking go away. That's all I want now. I don't want anything adapted. None of it. I just want it left alone. I just want this shit left alone. And maybe in 20 years, when this cycles through, we can talk about it again. But I would challenge any creative out there. If you really want to change, if you really want to fucking change things, shut the fuck up and create. Shut the fuck up and act. Otherwise, trade school will be an option. House of the Dragon, all right. For an opening, it was okay. Wasn't bad. Wasn't great. They got a long way to go to win me back, but I'll be back next Sunday with MauLer. Probably 7 p.m. Pacific. God, I'm on Pacific time. I'm all screwed up. I think it's 8 Central where I am. And it's like fuck all in the morning wherever he is. I don't know. And maybe we'll have other guests. Rings of Power reviews will be in the middle of the night, except for the opening. If you haven't heard, Amazon blinked and they're putting it on Thursday. And I will be live. At 9:15 p.m. September 1st, the day before Professor Tolkien's passing. And we will be reviewing it live. And then the whole gang will be Friday Night Tights the next day because I'm making them all watch it. And we're going to have very specific guests over the next 2 months that know their Lord of the Rings shit that will be on Friday Night Tights. Okay? So it's Rings of Power time. It's coming up. Hey, Nerdrotic from Australia. Just dropped to say g'day and give you some beer money. Love your channel, mate. Thank you, James Tiberius Kirk. Tiberius is my son's middle name. For 20 Australian dollars. My wife would love some beer money. I do not partake in the suds. I'll get some coffee though. Thank you. Hail Australia. Hopefully you'll be totally free someday. So, hey, we had Nina in the chat. We had the Great Jane Theory in the chat. We had Az in the chat. We had MauLer joining us. And most importantly, we had you joining us. So, thank you all. Thank you to the Nerdrotics. Thanks to Eric K. Thanks to everyone that left a super chat and donation. You help keep the lights on around here. Love you guys. It was great meeting. So like it fires us up when we meet you guys, because it's it's just like going to a comic shop or going to a con, and you just meet a bunch of people with those similar interests, and we don't talk about fucking politics or whatever. We just talk about the shit we love. Unfortunately, we're going to have to fight to keep some of it. How much? I don't know. Is it worth fighting for? Yes. Yes. People are starting to wake up to that. Starting to see a lot of political pundits talking about culture. The same ones who abandoned it years ago or wouldn't talk about it or said it was silly or calling us virgins in our basement or whatever the fuck they were calling us. We're getting it from both sides. We're seeing how important it was now. And I think that's good. We can always grow. So thank you again. I will see you all tomorrow on Nerdrotic Live. Be good to each other.